See, Acor and Kios are in chat. I think they don't like the comment you made about being the best team in the group. Gamer Legion were also there.
But they played at RMR.
Look at this. They played Anonymous, Illuminar, and Heat. All three didn't qualify. Make of that what you want.
I think. I mean, last time we met Gamer Legion, we owned them 2-0. So that's
oh dear.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Your bet, your game.
Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Good vibe, train, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans from across the globe, welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Quick shout out to our sponsors, newest on board SteelSeries. Thanks to them for sponsoring the show. We've also got N1Bet, gamble responsibly, and of course BitSkins. You know, you can head over there if you're looking in the market for some skins. Now, one thing that you need to be careful, guys, if you're exfoliating in the shower, something aggressive, you might get a bit of redness in your T-zone. As you can see here, I have a bit of redness in my T-zone from exfoliating today, but it's always a good idea to exfoliate the skin. You know, I feel like I've gone a little bit too rough.
You do it in the shower?
I do it in the shower, which, you know, I do a cleanse. The cleanse isn't in the shower, but the exfoliation today, you don't exfoliate every day, you know, maybe like once a week. And this is what I was left with. So it's a Sunday night bit of redness. Prof, you know anything about a bit of Sunday night redness?
Yeah, it happens all the time. But I want to hear more about the cleansing. Which areas do you cleanse during this cleanse? How does this work exactly?
You know, I've got big pores on my nose, so I like to get it in
classic.
There. But yeah, it's really troubling with the T area. It does get it can be oily, but also can get quite dry. So you need to have a good skincare regimen to be able to deal with it. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, and I wouldn't say I'm full time on my skincare regimen either. If anything, it's infrequent.
When you feel the day to do like the self-soothing, self-care moment, self-care Sunday, as they call it.
Self-care Sunday, yeah. And we have STYKO, a big fan of self-care Sunday. He normally has himself a little like martini right now, or you know the one with some egg yolks or whatever you've been doing, mate. I don't know what you've been drinking these days. I got no idea. What have you been having? Any Sunday delights?
Egg whites.
My absolute top tier drink is an Amaretto sour.
What's
with egg whites? Amaretto sour.
Okay, so
it's like whiskey sour except for Amaretto. Huh?
Okay. I just wanted to make sure there were eggs involved. I knew there were eggs. I just didn't know how they were involved.
Egg whites.
But now we know they're involved. Lucas is here, but look, let's introduce our guest who has a very lovely looking setup here. One that I'm sure will answer some questions about STYKO. Of Mal's fame, who was over there at Hellraisers, maybe if you're old enough to remember those days. More recently in the Godsent/FPX project, that had the Smash was a name in there as well. Joining us this evening in Apeks colors. How you doing, STYKO? How you feeling this evening, mate? Have you had any Sunday fun day?
Thank you for having me. Sunday fun day is kind of coming into the end. Just went out of the last practice game, so a little bit tired. Yesterday we were celebrating with the Apeks as well. So
You sound like
we-
you were celebrating, yeah.
I mean, thank you for that. Thank you for rubbing it. So today the practice was, just trying to get by and survive everything. But we were actually playing pretty good. And I'm just tired after everything. It's been a hell of a week with a close qualifier. I'm glad we made it 3-0, but still it's rough, with the schedule and the amount of pressure and everything that is on the players.
Sure.
Some other teams are doing even like more tournaments at the same time. So that's props to them.
Well, let's jump into all of that, but I got to do all the business stuff here, mate. So, Lucas, roll the bumper and let's get into the hot seat. All right, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Normally, we kind of like meander along a path here from the beginning until the most recent. I want to try things a little bit differently this evening. I want to give everyone at home a brief
experimenting.
Yeah, and I want to see, because I want to keep it poppy. I want to keep it fresh. Last week we had report cards. This week we've got different ways of asking questions. It's getting crazy out there, man. We're 2023 and no one's going to stop us. But brief synopsis of the situation here. We got STYKO on the show from Apeks. Middle of last year, you joined the team, so roughly about 6 months ago or so. When you joined, Chorzi and Asilian were still there. They weren't there for that long. They went. Polly, who was the coach at the time, he moved to one side. Asilian and Chorzi were bench. Cuban comes in. The big Cuban, yes. VP fame, Polish legend, in the team, coaching, calling the shots. His last time people might remember him over at Mad Lions. Speaking of Mad Lions, JL brings JL from Mad Lions across. Now he's in the team. During all of that, STYKO thinks, you know what, maybe I'll do a bit of in-game leading, right? You had a shock situation, a Mihu moment, and then finally, at the tail end of 2022, Kixon comes in. He's this young lad. He's from, a flag that is really colorful. People are like, what's going on? And he's the in-game leader. So, mate, that's 6 months. That's bloody exhausting.
It is. But I mean, a lot of things that happened, the bad ones that you mentioned, some of them briefly, it really made us where we are right now. I mean, if it wasn't for those little hiccups here and there throughout the season, 2022, I don't think we would be sitting here having this chat and us being already qualified to the major, RMR and all that. So all bad things happens for a reason, and I love it that it happened kind of in a way it did, because right now I think like we're a pretty strong team.
So let's dig into that, right? So we're talking about your success during the closed qualifiers. Now you're in the RMR. That's in a little bit of time. We've got a couple of months until that now, so a decent bit of landing time for this. You're in the team. And some of the names I didn't mention were obviously Jacob and Nork, which are names that people should be a bit more familiar with. They're more household names. So now that you guys have had this success, you were talking about celebrating last night with the org. The org's been around in CSGO for a decent period of time now, right? Obviously not crazy long, but a decent period of time now. But let's start with where the team is at now, right? And some of the big questions, like as soon as I see this roster, I know Jacob, I know Nork, I know what you're going to bring to the table. But what are some of these newer names? Can you give us a bit more about Kixon and JL, and then we'll kind of work our way backwards here and talk about some of the bumps along the way to this point?
Absolutely. So JL, I'll start with him since he's a teammate of mine for a longer period of time. So 6 months right now. And well, basically what he's bringing to the team is like this super hunger and being young and unproven, so to speak, still. So this is really important to have someone that is just new to the scene, and he's believing in the process, and he's bringing this fresh new ideas. And the guy who grinds face it all the time, it's me and JK. We've been around for a long time, and we're just not these guys anymore that we can just play 14 hours per day. But when Justinas, the JL, is doing this, like it kind of gives you motivation. You want to play as good as him. Like, he's super sharp. These young guys, they're insanely fast. And Kixon, like, he was one of the guys that we trialed for the IGL role, and he played unbelievably well during the trials, and that's one of the main reasons as well that he was eventually signed, and we showed so much interest in him, because the way he called, the way he structured everything, the way he thinks about the game, it really shows you the new way of how to play Counter-Strike, and it just gives you a depth to thinking about the game in a different way, and I love everything about it. I think he was really unproven as well, so not a lot of experience. So I was super impressed when we had just brief theories on the server, 5 of us plus coaches, and he was just speaking his mind, how he wants to play, and yeah, we fell in love with it.
How do you go about kind of like trialing IGLs? Because obviously, it's a position that like it will just take time for you to realize like how a person thinks about the game, how they're going to structure the game. Like he's just thrown into like kind of a system that already exists and then has to do something about it. How do you go about even judging how good they are at being an IGL?
So that's a good question. Well, what we did was that we brought him to the server. Every guy that we trialed had at least 3 or 4 practice days with us, and each day started with like a theory session where he was just talking nonstop for like hour or 2. Like he was showing it was not our system that we were trying to force onto him. It was completely from the scratch. We're gonna play this map in 2 hours. Let's make the best use of it. And the way these IGLs that we trialed, the way they use these 2 hours already showed you what kind of guys they are. Like, are they going to be really demanding of the players? Are they going to be respected? Are they going to be heard? Do they want to lead these theory sessions by themselves, or they want to prepare it day prior to it, or they want to help with the coach, or they're going to ask a lot of questions to the players? Like, all of these things came to the consideration when we eventually picked Kiksan for the role, because what he was doing was really self-sufficient. He was efficient. It was effective. What he was doing, what he was saying made sense. A lot of things were just, the meta that we want to play.
That's interesting. Would you say that like the team up until that point, because obviously we mentioned different players who'd come on through, and there was more players before you had even gotten to the Apeks camp. But would you say that the team was kind of lacking an identity of how it wanted to play then, right? If he's able to come in and define this, or do you think like that's what you want to be your leader, someone that knows strongly the way that they want to approach the game?
Absolutely. When we signed, every time we sign a new player, basically, we have like a team talk where we want to build the identity of the team, how we want to play. Do we want to be like outsiders and we want to save up every round, or are we gonna be bad news Eagles and we're just gonna W a lot of rounds, or ENCE for that matter? Like, you have to build the identity on T side, on CT side, and think about the maps that you want to play, etc., etc. And I think when Cillion 1 year ago, when he was still IGL of the Apeks, when I came in, I think we had this identity. He kind of like this Danish IGL and this Danish mind of Counter-Strike. You respect these people. You do what they are telling you to do, and I liked the team back then. It didn't work out well for various reasons. But then when I jumped in for the IGL, I feel like we were missing this identity. Like, I didn't present it. There was a lot of problems and crisis in how we really want to play, because you have certain people that were in the previous Apeks with me, JACKZ and nawwk, and we had one style that we want to play like that. And then Justinas, JL, and Kuban came in from X-Mad Lions, and they have different kind of vision they want to play. And obviously Kuban has to be like, he's a coach, he's a main coach. He needs to be heard. And then we had JACKZ coming in, guy who is playing tier 1 tournaments for Team Liquid, Vitality and everything. So we want to learn a bit from him as well. So we tried to mesh 3 things together, which didn't work out eventually. And there was like identity crisis. And I take full responsibility for that as well, because I should have been the one that steps up and talk through.
It's really hard though, right? Like you're taking accountability there for that, but to like be a leader, it's something that everybody's kind of learning to do on the job, right? Like it's not something that there's no guide on how to do it. That's why when we get to talk to you guys, or we get to ask about coaches and see what they bring, we're kind of building that mental image and understanding what their role is within a team, right? Because a lot of this, people aren't going to sit here and tell us their theory of how they want to approach the game or why they do certain things. Like, we're never going to get that, but we're trying to piece together where the strengths come from, or the weaknesses, and everything in between. So I guess that limbo period that we had, like we can start dotting around, right? Because we're at the peak. Well, not the peak now, the apex. Right. We've had you guys qualify for the RMR. We're going to talk a bit about that and that whole process soon. But as we work backwards through this, which one stands out to you the most, Prof, that you are curious about in terms of the 6 months up till this point?
I would ask just a bit more about the IGL experiment, or the period, because like in theory, I think when people saw, STYKO is taking the IGL role, it seemed like kind of like a natural transition. I think a lot of people, like knowing you as a player, expect that to come at some point in your career, to be the IGL, right? So how did it happen from your point of view? Was it more like okay, we need to try it now because it makes sense, or did you really feel like it's your time to IGL and like take it on?
No. At first I didn't want to be IGL. It was kind of, I don't want to say forced, but it was brought up by the team. It's like, I think Martin is like really calm and he can be IGL and he's really smart about the game and everything, which on one hand, I think it's fine. It's one thing being like smart about the game and think about the game a lot and theory craft and try to anti-strat or whatever. But it's different to actually like lead the team. I was never born a leader. I'm like, you guys know me a little bit, and I'm not like I'm gonna just like put my foot down and tell someone what to do. Like, I'm really selfless guy as well, and it's kind of, you have to be a little bit selfish as an in-game leader, and you have to tell people to shut up when they need to shut up. And I just wasn't doing this. Like, I don't want to say I wasn't heard or anything, but it's just not me. And well, I said to take on the IGL role under one condition, and that would be that we will find someone that is better in a lurk position than me. And there was a lot of names on the list, and I felt confident, like, I'm honestly better than this guy. Like, I don't want to give up my comfort zone for a different player. But then we get the chance to sign JACKZ. I was like, almost instantly, I said, like, hooray, like, let's do it. Like, he's experienced and good, and I want to learn from him as well. And yeah, that didn't work out. So I think we're gonna get into it. But my IGL phase, I think it was a bit of a mess, identity crisis, and there was a lot of problems around the server as well. Like the people didn't just mesh good. I think my IGLing was really bad, but at the same time, it wasn't even the worst like bad thing that was happening to the team at the time, which is kind of crazy. Like we didn't really get too much to work on it. Like we were fixing a lot of other stuff before that we were trying to like get on the same page, but we just couldn't.
Yeah, the basics weren't working. So like the actual calls didn't matter that much if you're if things aren't coming together. Yeah. Do you think there's a chance you do it again in the future?
I don't know, man. Like
that seems like it was a really bad experience.
It was a bad experience. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or anything. But it's just not my style. Like, I would have to like legit change my personality to be IGL, which I think it's really hard for me to do when I've been the way I am for fucking 27 years or whatever, you know? So
26, I think.
You left. Okay. There's a trap card that's been left here, Striker. He said it wasn't the worst bad thing that was happening to them at the time. So what was the worst bad thing that was happening at the time?
I mean, the people in the team, just, we didn't mesh well together. And it was one of the things, like, you could see as well that, well, JACKZ being with us for only 2 months already has to say something. Like, we weren't on the same page on the server, we weren't on the same page off the server as well. Like, we just didn't get along in multiple areas of something that we should be doing. You know, like during the boot camps, we were just not, we didn't click. It happens, like personality-wise, culture-wise, we're at a very different part of our lives as well. Like, some of our players were having wife and kids and whatever, while other guys, you know, were grinding Faceit for until midnight or whatever. So like, we're at a different stage of the life, and it's really hard to like be compatible in this kind of sense. Boot camps are obviously like somewhere where we should be all together and talk about it, but it just didn't click, I would say. Like, whatever. And this was one of the mistakes that we kind of did, maybe, that we had the opportunity to sign JACKZ, and we kind of went head first into it. And
that's what Liquid did as well, though, so don't feel too bad about it.
I think after that we realized that we kind of have to trial people, and we took this trial period like super seriously. Like interviews and actual time on the server, then testing people out in officials, testing them in practice, talking to them. Like, it took us a month, and we tested multiple IGLs. Some of them are already, like, it was leaked. Some of them, maybe I can talk about it later, but yeah. It was a super productive period for us, and it was kind of annoying for the players, you know, playing every day with a different like completely default system, like different positions sometimes even.
Did they actually come in and, like, you were talking about, like, guy comes in theory, right? Like, Does anybody of those guys actually come in and say you shouldn't play this position, you should play elsewhere?
Yeah. It
Wow.
happened. It happened and it didn't go well. Let me tell you that Kickson was the guy that was like taking these kind of bad hearts positions or whatever. But at the same time, on T side, he likes to be in the pack, you know, understand what's going on. But there were some IGLs that came in and just told us completely reshuffled our positions, and we were like, okay, let's try it out. I mean, we're believing him 100%, and we try it, and okay, sometimes it didn't work at all. Sometimes it worked just quite a bit, and it was kind of a rough experience for the players.
But it feels like you went through like an intensive training camp of doing a whole lot of different things. You know, you've tried a whole bunch of different tools that you could use. I'm sure there was some good stuff that stuck and some good lessons learned in that period. But in an interesting way, it's like you're kind of you're auditioning the lead singer of the band. Like you don't even know what the band sounds like. Like you just like, well, this sounds good. You know, it's an interesting way to do it, right? Because I thought maybe like Cuban's edition, he would come in with a strong way that he sees the game. So this is obviously he's there more to. And I'm asking, is he there more to just supplement where necessary? You know, like okay, Kickson brings this. I can bring this to the table. I can support them in what different ways from a coaching perspective.
I think Kuban is really strong voice in the team, and he was even during the trial periods. But we had to like pick the minds of these people to let them speak their mind, understand what they know about CS. Because like if we tell them tomorrow we will have overpass theory for 2 hours, they can prepare like almost like rehearse those 2 hours. But we really need to catch them off guard and make them think about the game, you know. And that's when the true IGLs were like, some of them we trialed were like not having correct answers or playing according to the meta or whatever, and some were like really spontaneous about the answers, and they were really thinking outside of the box, and we liked it. But the Kuban is definitely a strong voice, but he doesn't want to be the only voice in the team. Obviously, like during RMRs, you can't have a coach on the server. I mean, close qualifiers and stuff like that. So we need to be self-sufficient, and we need to basically use a coach as a strong voice, yes, but at the same time, not to be the main leading guy. That should be the IGL.
Okay. What do we have much else in the history and the lead up to this point? Want to drudge through here, Prof? I see.
Maybe the question kind of catching on to something I think you said like 20 minutes ago or so. You mentioned that like Kickson adds this like new view of the game, like how the younger generation plays it. What does that mean actually for like the viewers at home? What is the difference between like how you and like maybe JKM look at the game and play the game versus how like this guy that like he came up through like the Blue Jays team around like 2 years ago or whatever and played like 500 online games in the last 2 years? What is the difference between the like kind of the views and how the game is supposed to be played?
I think I will give you a concrete example. Okay, so when I was IGLing, I was like calling way behind the meta, like even like years off, because I was really heavily influenced by my first IGLs, which were like Angel from Hellraisers and LMBT, and this is like way long time ago. And I was like, you know, grouping a lot on T sides, like playing in a pack, like 4 people, be tradable, whatever. Like it's wrong right now. Like in this, what we're trying to go as identity of the team for the T sides, and the Kickson has like a strong like a lot of responsibility for this as well. The way we play, and we like it, is that we play like more solo, like, you know, one guy going there, one guy going there, 2 guys looking maybe like in a mini pack of 2 guys going somewhere, and then last guy is like lurking around, like playing 1-1-1 around the map, and like individualistic. It looks like bad because you're not really tradable, but at the same time, this is like a lot of teams are playing right now in the meta, where there's a lot of gaps and exploits and timings that you can just abuse, but you're not able to abuse it if you're like 4 guys in a pack somewhere on the map.
Okay, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I'm very happy with this answer.
So there's a lot of this though, like you see a lot of like seesawing going on, right? This facilitates a lot of that, yeah? Like when you're poking everywhere at once and you're pulling these rotations and you're forcing the CTs to constantly be moving. Like Vertigo is a prime example of a map where you see that all the time. Like even with some of the stuff that Heroic try and do an overpass, where they'll just have like some guy walk out monster and some guy walk up long, and then there's 3 guys ready to react off of whatever space. So like that's how you think the best teams are playing at the moment?
Exactly. This is you nailed it. Like with the monster example, you nailed it. Like it's really good. On Mirage, for example, like you have one guy palace, one guy ramp, one guy top middle, one guy B-apps, and one guy underground. You have 5 people at a completely different place, and it opens up the map so much because CTs, they have to be like on their toes, you know, like they are scared of certain positions, and being you win 1 or 2 duels and it collapses like a domino.
Is there
Okay.
one team particularly that you've kind of like gotten inspired by in building this kind of identity? Is there somebody that you're like comparable to?
I think it was a lot of stuff that we were trying to copy was Navi. When with Sam Dayang still in the roster, and the Galil meta, for example, like it helps T so much to do this exactly. Like go for one-on-one duel. If you have Galil, you can have Galil pretty much every round. The other guy has an M4, so pretty much the equal weaponry, and you win that duel, and it puts so much pressure on the CTs. So Navi was one of them, and many others as well.
Okay. Is that something, because you were saying you were still calling the old meta, is that something, say like JACKZ, for example, he's 28 now, you know, when he was playing back in the 100 Thieves days, that was a decent period of time ago now, right?
Yeah.
Is he also one who you've had to, you know, bring into this new meta and understanding?
I mean, JACKZ is the guy that kind of, we don't want him to think about the game that much. We want
Okay,
him to
still
think
a
about
club.
shooting.
You're still just going to bop it. You use him to bop the opponents over the head still.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Get aggressive, get into the early duels. I mean, when I see JACKZ clutching, I'm like, what is happening? And he knows it. Like, he doesn't like to clutch. He just wants to go in. He wants to play W, and he's still this guy. But so we present the plan how we want to play, and he abides the rules. You know, like he's playing into it, whatever we tell him, and he believes it 100%, and we believe that he will kill.
Okay. What would you say to this playstyle that you're talking about is like the hardest to play against? It's something where teams are really so like outsiders and are always just so passive and so totaled up. Is that the difficult playstyle for this to work against, with less gaps in that way, or is it, hey, it's just, you know, we know Counter-Strike, if we're rocking up and we're hitting our shots and we're being more proactive, we're going to find those gaps?
I mean, there's a lot of different play styles that are annoying to play against. And outsiders, they are super annoying to play. Like they don't give you anything. They don't give you free information. And when you expected the release, when you think they're saving, they're suddenly planting the bomb. Like you don't even know what is happening on the map when you're playing against outsiders. They're so good at like not giving you basically any reads. Like even the way they shuffle the players around the map, like lurker is not always a lurker. There might be some other guy that is lurking, you know, and you kill that guy and you expect the area to be clear, but it's really not. And outsiders are really good at this. I like what they're doing, what they're playing. I hate watching them, but it's like really annoying. It's really annoying playing against them in practice because like we can't play them anywhere else, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, to be honest, they don't
RMR.
play a lot of tournaments either. So
Are you in the same group as them?
Yeah,
in
we
the
are.
RMR? Oh,
We are
okay.
at the RMR.
There you go. It's possible. Maybe you get the matchup. We get Apeks versus outsiders not too long from now. Okay, so we touched a little bit on everybody, right, in the team. We haven't really spoken a lot about nawwk, I guess. We mentioned JACKZ just there. You spoke about JACKZ Kicks in to kick off this whole thing.
I guess let's talk about nawwk. So someone in chat asked to ask about nawwk, so we need to ask about him.
What do we want to ask about him specifically, Prof?
I think like I look at for example, look at the stats for the last 3 months, and he's the highest rated player, 1.17 rating, and he was like famously / infamously removed from that and IP roster when Device came in. Like his trajectory as a career is like kind of like a black comedy in a way, right? Like he gets kicked, and then like 6 months later, NIP actually kind of needed him back, if we're gonna be honest, and only now found like a replacement offer for him. He's been doing like quite well. Like how is he fitting in this like whole system, and where does he fit between like the young new guard and the old guard as a player?
I think he's like a glue to the team where he connects everyone. Like he's super fun to be around. Personality wise, he's really like hardworking. At the same time, he's like aware of his mistakes, which he's working on. And I love this mindset about any of my teammates. Honestly, he is when I talk about in-game stuff, he's insanely sharp. His opening is really good. When he feels discomfort, he is not afraid to speak his mind. Like, guys, I need help. Like, I can't find a solution to this and this. Please, like, let's find a solution together because I can't be bothered to like dying constantly over and over again. So he's like not really even like stubborn. So I love this mentality. He's really good at clutching. We want to keep him in clutches. Great pistol player. We always try to drop him P250 and support him in whatever way we can. Like we are really aware of his strengths, and we are doing our best to enable him. Basically, like he's the OPER. He needs to bring impact. He knows it. It's an extra pressure on every OPER, and we're doing everything we can possibly to make this happen. That's and I think he's fulfilling his role completely okay. That's why you said he's the highest rated player. He is deserved number one in the team.
Do you think there was a moment when his like form kind of switched in Apeks when he felt like more comfortable?
I think during the trial periods he felt the least comfortable. For example, like that period with Mihu and the thing, like there was no structure, and Kuban was calling a lot as well during the ZSCA periods, because like we didn't have Mihu when he was with us, he wasn't like IGL or whatever. So it was Kuban, and like the way Kuban was calling, he was like I remember Nok wasn't really happy too much about some of the stuff he had to do. So that was like a period where I think he was slumping a little bit, but other than that, like we were winning. Like we won the CSCA thingy, and I think right now he's really in his comfort zone, and I love it.
Okay. All right. Well, what about a bit on the org, mate? Because you're set up in some fancy room like we touched on there. There's shirts and frames in the background. That doesn't happen in everybody's house. So what's Apeks like as an org? It'd be nice to know what they're supporting you lads with.
I can't say a bad word about the organization. Like it's honestly pretty sick with the setup we have here in Oslo. We are here probably like every month or every month and a half. We travel here for a couple of days, week, 10 days. We work really hard here, and it's the way everyone is around here in this office. Like it makes you really feel like you're with a second family, so to speak, because everyone's really friendly, everyone is open, and we're discussing things together, even personal things, even the things about Counter-Strike, esports in general. Yesterday, I think they won an award for the Club of the Year in Norway, so that's one of the reasons they were celebrating. So I'm really happy with what they're doing with the whole idea. And the shirts behind me, I think it's a little bit connected, because a lot of them are shirts from the football or soccer. I don't watch that, but they are like the club originated from the football, and they're interested in football, and investors are from this kind of background. So they have some kind of experience with the sports, and now they brought it into esports as well.
Okay, cool. All right, lads. I guess if we have more questions for STYKO, we can ask them as we go. Because what I want to do is I want to do Skinionaire, and then I want to talk about use him as our like conduit to start talking about. We'll do like a
conduit.
We'll do a major refresher. We'll remind everybody, where we're headed, what stages we've just finished. So let's do this quiz.
Can I just throw in one more question? And
of course.
I mean, we could have left it for the end, but I don't want to kind of skip on it. Obviously, you and I come from the same place, and I know you're kind of maybe a little bit similar as me. Don't really give a shit too much about like what's happening back at home sometimes, and don't like keep 100% attention on everything at all times. But I'm curious about what you think about the recent development in the Czech and Slovakian scene, which is basically that a lot of these teams have picked up like international players. Obviously, Sinners have gone back to like this Oscar. I don't want to call it experiment. They just brought back Oscar, right? The scene seems like in a really weird place at the moment to me. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I honestly, like, we're playing a lot of Czech teams in these online tournaments, and right. the level went up like 100%. I don't know what is behind it. Maybe people started taking it more seriously with the salary teams, and everything. For Sinners, I don't know, man. I think I think what happened in open qualifier was just straight up choke. And maybe pressure.
They're up 13-8 or some shit, right? Something like that.
And I think it must be really hard for the players. But I can feel like, I don't know, almost a tension. Something is going on in the team. Like people are not really happy. Just judging by, I don't know, some of the tweets maybe. And but I'm maybe just overreacting or something. I'm not really in touch with anyone. I'm not like actively speaking to any from Czech Republic or Slovakia daily, because I don't have any relationship with the players. But the level went up 100%.
What do you think about kind of like the move to for international players? We saw Enterprise, we saw another team that I can't remember which one it was.
Even
Stick to your
Teams.
home
Echo.
teams, man.
Can't you remember like the
Echo,
three
there
teams
we go.
that
With
they
Anarchist,
have?
Yeah, with Anarchist being in.
Yeah, there we
so-
go. Oh yeah, of course, that's the most recent one.
I mean, we play them tomorrow, so I have to know. Yeah, I honestly, I kind of like the move with what they're doing because they're not afraid to experiment. It kind of sucks for the local players, but I think it can be extra motivation, like to really get into these teams if the competition is bigger, you know, like if Eklot can suddenly switch up players because they anyway switch to English speaking team right now, and they can pick anyone out of anywhere in the Europe, let's say, like it puts pressure on the players as well to perform and be better and really chase this mentality, this winning mentality that is really important to have. And before that, when they were purely Slovakian and Czech teams, I don't think maybe people were doing this because they were like secured spot on the team because they were doing okay enough, right? So now I think it can rise the level a little bit.
All right. You happy with that, Striker?
Yeah, I'm
Do you think
happy.
you can save your scene?
If you
You're
remember
talking
about me
the
or
names
you're
of
talking
more
to
than
me
two
or
teams.
You guys combined. The two of you, that your powers. Can you do
Striker
it?
is the highest rated Czech player on HLTV, so
True.
That is the truth.
There's no doubt about it.
1.30.
I'm saving it through the content, okay? So I'm doing like
Oh yeah, you're
education.
doing like a lot of like teaching, right?
I mean, yeah, trying. It's really relaxing for me to put things out and just I see people enjoying it and commentate on it and just give me feedback back and stuff like that. It's really, really like I don't know, calming in a way. Like I basically do nothing. I just talk about Counter-Strike to the camera, upload it, and some people just message me like, "This was really helpful. This helped our team a lot. Like thanks to this, I can be better and I can show my teammates what they're doing wrong or whatever." Like it really, really warms my heart.
That's
Whatever.
kind of exactly what we do here, mate. We just, whack a camera on,
Yeah.
got a producer, we talk about some stuff, and people are like, that was really good.
Yeah.
You should do custom. You should do custom videos, right? This is the idea. This is how you make money. For example, I'm playing with Bercho, and Bercho does a peek, and he dies and loses the round, and I'm like, you shouldn't do that, and he's like, no, that's a great move, and then I contact you, and you make a video how that exact play is bad. I pay you like $500 just for the memes, right? You make the video, you upload it, and then I send it to Bercha as like, see, you're wrong. You're objectively wrong. I'm right. And I feel like that's worth.
I mean, so you want me to be a referee between you two being in
Yeah, but like
argument,
a paid,
yeah?
But
a paid referee.
Paid
yeah.
referee that this is
Yeah.
a corrupted hole. Let's go.
I actually saw like a Instagram reel. A guy was like showing stuff on the dark web, and it was like fake couple therapy. So you pay the guy or girl, I don't know, to like be the therapist for you as a couple, but like side with you on everything.
Oh, shit.
It's like fucking insane.
no.
But this is just like a more fun version of that,
Yeah.
essentially.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, that one
Thanks, Tico,
sounds
to
like...
shit on Bercho. That's a good idea.
The one that you brought up, Prof, sounds like manipulation through not just... like, that's
Wow.
fucked.
That it is.
That's
why it's on
fucked.
the dark web. I
All right.
guess.
Let's give something away. Let's give away a skin here. Let's lighten the mood here. Let's not be manipulating our significant other by organizing a fake therapist to side with us and gaslight them. What
You
a
can
weird
just do
world.
that yourself,
How
of
did you even
course.
know that exists? Anyway,
Bro, it's
you
on
can try.
Instagram Reels. There's some guy and he's like looking at the monitor. You know how these reels look.
Oh shit! All right. Everyone, type BitSkins in chat right now if you want to enter the draw. We're gonna have STYKO, our guest, right here, right now. 5 questions, multiple choice. Striker can be your assistant if you need any help. I will be the man reading the questions, and the man writing the questions and bringing you the fun every single week is going to be none other than Prof. Alrighty, people at home, this is Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by BitSkins. STYKO, are you ready?
Of course, let's go.
All right. Question number 1. We need a clock here, like a ticking noise. Which one of these players represented endpoint previously? Sphinx, Flames, or Exertion?
Sphinx, 1 second. I need to look at this. My old eyes. Which of these players represented endpoint? I
Yes.
think endpoint was. Oh damn. Maybe I'm thinking it was definitely not Exertion. I'm thinking Flames or Sphinx. I think it might be Flames here. Yeah, I think
locking in
Flames.
Flames. I know that's correct. That's bang on 1 from 1. I don't even need to wait for it to go green. Ding, 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 ding. Correct answer, Flames. 1 from 1 out the gates here. All right, steady, safe. Took his time, thought it through. Question number 2. From the forums, device_1_CCTs, CCT simple question mark 0 who cars or 1337.
It was
This
on
is
the
a-
forums today. It was a fresh news. You can't.
I mean, there's a logical
I reckon
answer,
it's
but I
who
don't know
cars,
if
man.
we could. Whatever.
I don't know, man. I feel like this
Okay,
one's
I might
this
need
one's
the help
fucked.
from
That's
the.
got to be 0, right? Like, I mean, that's the logical answer at least. If it's something else, it's just like such an HLTV forum thing. But device 1 CCT, simple 1 CCTs. So that would be that would make the most sense to me.
that
I
would,
mean-
but
I'm embarrassed. I'm not on point with the memes on HLTV.
this is
It's
too
legitimate.
fresh.
I mean, there's
man.
the whole Devil Walk 1 major, and like
Of course,
used to be simple 0 major.
All right, am I going with 0 striker? You help out, STYKO here.
I
Take
think
the
I will
pressure
go
off
with
it.
a 0.
That's what I would
Okay.
go with. I don't know.
What a ridiculous question. The correct answer is 0. Okay,
There you
thank
go.
God. Because
There you go.
if sensibility didn't prevail there, I feel I would have lost my shit on behalf of everybody. So
That would
we're
just be a
lucky.
rigged game, man. Like, we could not have gotten that right.
We're lucky we got that one past the keeper. All right, question number 3. Fucking hell. All right, what was the last major Kenny S played? Oh, this is depressing. London 2018, Berlin 2019, or Stockholm 2021?
That's a good question. I don't think he was at the Stockholm 2021. London 2018. That's me with Cloud9 there. I don't think he was
Whoa.
playing. What?
That's a throwback. No, I'm just saying that's a cool throwback.
I'm like, wait. I think it might be. I wasn't at the Berlin.
But he would have been. But Berlin was was with the crazy
But he was
guys
already-
before they merged with G2.
Oh.
Right, they merged with G2 after Berlin.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, crazy was in Berlin for sure.
So
It must be Berlin then, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he was with G2 at the time, so it must have been.
All right,
I think.
Berlin.
I think I would go for Berlin as well.
All right, locking in B, Berlin. Correct answer. B, Berlin. Okay.
Pretty easy
all right.
questions today. You gotta say. You
I
gotta say
know,
pretty
man.
easy
If you
questions.
didn't
know.
throw me like the crazy way, I would have actually said London, because I thought Kenny S already wasn't in G2 by that time, but he was.
Saved. All right, question number 4. This player dominated the RMR closed qualifier with a 1.59 rating. Was it Kenny S, Blame F, or Nico?
I would personally go for Nico here. Blame if they did lose that best of 1, but Blame if always makes good impact here.
A 160, man.
Yeah, and Kenny is we played them and he was playing really questionable, so I don't think he farmed that enough rating in a close qualifier. I think it's Nico.
Go with Nico here.
I think so too. I mean, he was
Correct answer is-
2.0 something after the first 2 maps, so.
Nico, there we go. See, and look, they got to play Nuke 3 times and Inferno once.
Bro,
Seems like
What?
probably the easiest
What?
way that you could qualify as the team who's number 1 in the world right now, playing your favorite maps. Kind of
They
nice.
really farmed. They really farmed. It was nice to see.
Yeah, we'll see if they screw the pooch at the RMR. All right, we got to get through question 5 before we start talking about that. All right, question 5. Let's jive. Which 2 teams went 3-0 in the North American closed qualifier? Complexity and Nouns, Complexity and EG, Complexity and Pain.
There's one that's pretty obvious that it's not correct.
The
Right
EG
there.
one is just not correct. I was spectating that game and it was rough to watch. But okay, so Complexity and I haven't watched honestly any.
I
close
know what it
qualifiers.
is, so if you want help.
Okay, I would personally go for the last one with the Pain.
It
being-
seems the most logical
that's the one.
regardless, right?
That is the one. That is just the right
All right,
answer.
locking in C, Complexity and Pain. The correct answer is C. 5 from 5. Alrighty, we'll be giving away a $50 skin to one of our lovely live viewers / listeners / people in Twitch chat, chatters, twitchers, followers, watchers, groupies.
Confirmeders.
Enjoyers.
None of the
Enjoyers.
above. All right, and the winner
Giga
is
Chads.
Maxim, who's been following since June of 2021. Congratulations, Maxim. That is capital
Shout
M,
out.
little A, capital X, little I, capital M, _ XD _
That's
Oh,
his
he's
name,
Slovakian.
sports nickname.
He wrote thank you, STYKO. It's Slovakian guy.
Well, there you go. Look at that.
Rigged.
It all
As
works
fuck.
out. It all works out. All right. So where we leave that was talking about the RMRs, and where we're going to go from here is going to be talking about the RMRs. That's the end of Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by BitSkins. Congratulations to Maximin. Thank you to STYKO and STYKO for getting us across the line there.
Don't thank me.
No, you did the questions. You're
Don't
the
thank
evil
me for
man who
anything.
we have to defeat to give everybody the skins. All right. I know that you've been brought into the sun god's lore in some of these YouTube videos. You know, I don't know how
the
that.
evil. And,
Yeah.
all of them. The
It's-
scary.
Hugo the
actually.
Scary, yeah. It's interesting, that lore. I'm interested to see where it goes. He made another one. We'll see if he continues to make
I saw
new.
the second one. The second one was pretty good.
I'm
There
excited
was,
for the third.
some tips and turns, like relying on Stana to save the world. Pretty. That's that's tense.
Anything's
That's
possible.
Yeah.
I think anything is truly possible. All right. So what I want to do, I want to jump into this RMR conversation. But I think what we do is we use this time to give everybody watching at home a bit of a refresher on what's happening right now. Right. So we know everything that we're seeing as far as these open qualifiers, closed qualifiers, the RMRs are still to come. Then leads us to the major, which is going to be going on, held by Blast in Paris later on in this year. And this first wave was the qualification for that, right? We know that it's now being broken up with the open qualifiers, the closed qualifiers, where teams are invited based off of their position in the Valve rankings. And then we have teams who are already in the RMR who placed as a legend stage team in the previous major. Then that gets broken up into all their different regions. As we know, we have Asia, we've got America, and we've got Europe, right? They're the major regions, but then everything gets broken up into their smaller qualifiers. One of the keys at the moment is that Asia gets 8 teams now, and we've qualified 6 of the 8. So I think what we can do is we could probably run through those ones quick, because we're going to spend more time on the other stuff, right? So I'm reversing the order again here. Wasn't intentional.
Like the other one is also kind of like fairly small at the moment because we're still waiting for a bunch of teams. So
okay, well let's start with the Asian teams, right? So this one here, I don't think there's too many surprises. Tyloo made it just. Rare Adam made it. We have Greyhound through and Vertex. Rooster, who is the team everyone's going to be seeing from Australia in Pro League in a couple weeks' time. They're practicing right now in Europe for Pro League, so they've foregone any chance to qualify for the major to focus on Pro League, which I understand.
How are they in Europe? What are they? Who paid for that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. If any of the guys are watching, I know they're in Poland before they come to Pro League. That's all I know. They've been there for about a month or something. Or they will have. No, a week, not a month. A week. And I guess they'll be there for a couple of weeks before this. So they couldn't compete. Encore didn't make it, which is where Gratisfaction is playing at the moment.
on LAN.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Like 3 years.
Right?
It's happening.
Yeah. And then from Asia, we had IHC qualify, and then another Mongolian team took down NKT, which was Benta and Stuff's squad.
Eruption. There we go.
There you go. So those are the 6 so far. The 2 from the Middle Eastern qualifier yet to be decided. And then we've got a little bit light on for the Americas right now. What do we got there, Strike? You got that in front of you?
Yeah, I would have to open it up, but it was pain complexity.
We have the N1 moment for whenever when we're talking about
you want to do
NA.
that now?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, let's do this now. Okay. Lucas, do you
It
have
sets us
the,
up.
you have the N1 moment on standby?
It's got to be kassad, right? Oh, no, never mind.
That was last week's N1 moment.
This literally happens every fucking episode.
But
He
that's all
fucks
right.
it up.
It's more
How is this
exciting that way.
possible?
It's more
How is this
exciting.
possible? It's
All right.
good that I wasn't 180 like upside down.
Give us the N1 moment here. Now, I don't know if everybody caught this at home. This is kassad putting a bounty out for $1,000 on the head of EG, which is kassad really taking this whole situation to the next level.
Unprecedented.
Freakazoid was asking today, is it 1,000 per player or just for the team? And kassad says just for the team. So look, that you're not going to get 1,000
for
ahead.
the coach and the manager, and like imagine if EG beat EG, then he had to pay like 70 people. That would be unreasonable.
Yeah, you know, how far would we stretch this? But kassad's vendetta here has really taken on a new form.
I wouldn't call this a vendetta, man. I think this is supporting a struggling region.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that framing. But I want to tackle something here, because some people are going to be like, man, just leave EG alone. And I get it. And I'm like, man, just leave EG alone. Like, who cares? Like, I'm happy, like, not to talk about it. That's fine. Like, if they do good, we can talk about them. If we don't have to talk about them. Like, they're just not our problem. But anyway, I think that they should lean into this, because I know that they get their nose put out of joint when people are talking shit But like when people would talk shit about G2, they'd lean into it and have fun with the memes. Like at least they were being spoken about, right? Like EG, I
That is
think
true.
should lean into the fact that even though they're being memed on, and I'm sure they very much do believe in the process, and it's fine. Let's fucking do the process, but let's lean into the fun and games as opposed to like attacking back and always making snarky comments and shit. Like someone's got to be the butt of the joke, and that's you right now. And if you end up winning, well, then people are going to shut the fuck up. But right now, that's not the case. It's like,
yeah, that's the thing. Like they chose to speak after one win.
Well, they didn't choose to speak. Someone associated with the team chose to speak, and it aged poorly. You know,
it's very poorly indeed. Yeah,
They are currently playing.
yeah.
Right
So
this
by the way, from NA, it's just campaign and complexity at the moment, and they are actually playing the 2-1 matches at the moment, which is MIBR are beating EG 11-5. Which is the team that beat EG before, is beating Nouns, and then Detonate is beating Timberman. So that's the North American one. And then from South America, we already have 4 teams. Imperial, Bestia is the former Isurus team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Fluxo and Flamengo are the 4 teams who qualified already. And then Paketa and Odik are playing now. And then 00 Nation are like one of the teams that are still, and Oplano and 9Z are actually 3 of those teams that are still fighting for like those 2 last spots in the 2-2 pool.
Okay. So we can keep our eyes on that. People know where to go to grab it. You can get the IPs which are available. And that's one of the cool things that happens. We spoke about this last time during the qualifier period where we were chit-chatting about like it's like March Madness. I think someone related to, they made a Reddit thread. I felt that again. I was streaming some games just the other day. I streamed for like, I think it was yesterday. I streamed for like 8.5 hours just in matches. And I was practicing.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was practicing observing.
I saw like 5 minutes and you were practicing observing.
I was practicing observing the whole time.
Yeah.
It was fucking sick. I loved it. I really enjoyed my time there, right? But I was watching the European games. And that's why we got STYKO here. Now, STYKO, we got some questions, mate. We're going to throw them at you here. Prof, Striker, you got any of these, you throw them in as well. So in terms of using Challenger mode, that hasn't been something that we've used for a major qualifier before, if I'm correct. How was it? How was the anti-cheat fine? Was the system okay? These are the questions we need to know.
I'm going to be honest. I think it was better than the SCA client. So
that's what I think everybody says at the moment, mate.
Yeah,
the
thing with the SCA client, you are stuck with it for a majority of the season if you're like a team in advance or whatever, and sometimes it gets really rough. But I haven't even noticed anything with this Challenger on, like the anti-cheat, it didn't lag or FPS drops. I had no issues at all. I really liked how smooth it was. I never knew about them being like anti-cheat or client or whatever. Like if this is the first time I heard about them, and it was really like flawless, at least for us here in with the setup that we have. So props to them for running it pretty smoothly, I would say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, compared to like the shit show we had with like this couple of last ones, like the open qualifiers especially, that were like problems on top of problems and just like delays because of server issues and whatever, anti-cheat and things like that, like causing server lag. Like surprisingly, we ended both, like the open qualifier part, we ended like super, I mean, I'm not gonna say super early because it's still kind of late, like around midnight, but whatever. But like we had open qualifiers that ran until like 3 a.m. and shit like before. And like surprisingly, I expected a complete nightmare. And then suddenly like everything just, after the first half an hour after the seating got sorted out and all that stuff, everything actually ran pretty quickly, which like hats off, honestly.
Yeah. What about from like a normal match day perspective here? You mentioned before coach is not allowed, right? So a lot of teams going in with that would have affected it. I know OG made it, but not to have your coach, right? That's a bit of a change from normal when you guys get in the server. Is there any other stuff players can use agent skins if they want? Did you come across any teams who are using those?
I think no one is using those. Just the gentleman agreement is still intact between the players.
Still a few gentlemen out there then.
Yes, of course. And so we're avoiding those. But other than that, like other with the coach, I didn't see any difference between best of one playing here and best of one let's playing in the ASA Advanced or whatever. Like it was pretty like smooth, and everyone got to the server, and there was no like admin writing you're gonna go live in 3 minutes exactly, to wait for my green light, whatever. No, just people connect to server, type .red in the chat, and we were going live. Like everything was pretty smooth, and props to everyone that we played because no one abused it, you know, like they didn't want to go live or they didn't want to ready up or whatever. Like it was pretty good.
Okay. Cool. You guys got any other questions about this, like the process here? Because this is boots on the ground type stuff, right? So I don't have too much else from this angle here.
Not really. Like I just enjoyed watching all of the stuff. I think we should do like a 7-day marathon stream next major. Just do like all of the qualifiers, let's go. You're gonna like do number 1, number 7, and all
I got
that
cams.
bullshit.
Yeah, I was going through, and it was a good bit of fun. But that's one of the keys, right? There were so many matches going on. I saw some threads, a bit of a general sentiment. People saying they're enjoying what was on the line, right? This is high stakes. You don't get higher stakes than this. This is to qualify for the pinnacle of the game, the tournament with the most money, the most at stake due to the stickers, the prestige, all that good stuff. And we're just talking in the online stages. So this is the first time we've seen open qualifiers going into a closed qualifier scenario where teams were invited off of the rankings. STYKO, you're normally our man we turn to as far as numbers are concerned. Was there anything egregious that panned out with the invites for the closed qualified teams? Or
I mean, there was a couple of them. I think the most kind of egregious one would be the ASG female team getting invited to the Asia one, which is obviously, they got that high on the ranking based off like playing in the women's circuit, right? But yeah, exactly, because it works in some way on like prize money one, right? And like obviously in those, the lower you go, the less prize money is kind of like on the line, right? And so like they kind of got in, even though they don't necessarily play against a lot of the same teams that got invited alongside with,
I see.
So I think that would be the kind of like the most questionable one, just because they just don't play in the same circuits. They didn't get to compete alongside some of these temes.
Yeah,
so
that does make it hard. Well, that's something that I think we need to like make a lot of sense of here for people. So for men's teams, right, they wouldn't be able to compete
against them. Yeah, just league. Exactly. So that should be in some way looked at, because obviously, they just have a much easier path to that kind of a rank
because of the mechanism. Yeah,
those tournaments should probably just not be counted towards this ranking, right? Because they limit who can play in them.
Right, exactly.
But don't blast tournaments play into it? It'd be the same thing, right? Yeah, we're getting into the weeds now.
Box. Yeah,
right.
That's true.
That's a real conversation that has to come in. Like, where do they draw? Well, yeah,
I think obviously they didn't do much here. They even got 16 though in one of the games.
Yeah, they got.
But like in theory, like they added two guys to play with them, so it's like 3+2 kind of a combination for this, and that could lead to like some extra experience. But like for this kind of a tournament, it would be just better to have teams that are just better, right? That actually have a chance to qualify. Which I think it's something to address.
Okay, I think there were a couple of other ones. I would have to look back through it, but there were a couple of ones that were a bit questionable about, because one win was one of them. We were talking about this last time. I think that they got an invite even though they changed literally 3 out of 5 players just before this, right? And that is obviously something that shouldn't be happening. Like that is something that should be taken into consideration, right? Because they added Forrester literally like 2 weeks before the deadline came in, and then they changed 2 more players. So like they kind of retained the core, which I assume is partly why they were able to be that high on the ranking, right? But then like they essentially changed the entire core in this year, So that's something that probably shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. If I may, one more thing about the close qualifier was that kind of the invites to the close qualifier were announced by Valve literally 1 day before open qualifier, and it was so hectic for us to even plan the bootcamp, for example. Like we don't know when we can travel and stuff like this. Like surely Valve can do it like at least a few days prior to the
because it was like right after Katowice ended, right? And then 2 days from there, like the open qualifier started or something like that. Yeah.
But it's obviously what they were using was the most recent data, right? They wanted to use the most.
The problem is like generally it's been very like super fast, like way too fast because of the even like announcements and stuff like that. Like literally sometimes we knew what close qualifier teams were invited on the day of the qualifier, like a lot of these cases, which is that's not ideal. And not even speaking from the level of teams,
I mean, I don't want to be going anything more than.
It should be like a week, like.
That's realistic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like because, like, of course, there's going to be like big events that count into it, and you don't want it to be too outdated. But a week to give teams like the opportunity to plan around it and make sure that they know what stage they're playing at. I think that is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, a week sounds that could be a simple fix. It's still pretty recent data. It's only yeah.
I mean,
okay.
especially like considering it was Katowice, that was basically the biggest thing that played into it. Like those teams who already who played
Were
in the last
probably
week
already
of Katowice
locked.
would have been way deep locked into
either already in the RMR
invites, you know?
or high up on the list. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What I want to do now is, because we're going to talk about some of these results going on with the closed qualifier and look at who qualified and now which groups they're going to find themselves in. But STYKO, take us on the journey. All right, take us on the journey. You said where you were waiting to find out where are we, what's going on, our first matches. Is there pressure, right? Part of this organization's definitely got some support, some big name players in the team. Take us through it. Let's see this through the lens of STYKO.
I mean, so obviously, Apeks is an organization, like it means a lot for them to be at the major. We are a team that we would like to attend this tournament, and we failed it last year twice. So the first major of the year, we missed out on that in open qualifiers. We failed all 4 of them, weren't even close. And then obviously there was Rio as well, where we played with Shocks, and we failed those as well, like pretty hard. So now we understood the pressure, and we kind of understood as a players that if something will go wrong, like it's not gonna be good. And we were first of all really relieved that we received a close qualifier invite. It puts away a lot of pressure from the players. And then us going 3-0 was honestly just insane mentality of the team and the boot camp and the preparation that we had here. Like we were up until sometimes 3:30 in the morning, just filling up the playbook with all the players, like being active and making sure that everyone is on the same page and every nade is supposed to hit where it's supposed to be. Timings were on point and everything. Like it was insane what we did in past week. And I think the 3-0 start, to some it might look like freaking fluke or something, but
no.
We were. I can confidently say that in our group, I think we were the best team. Yeah, I would say so. I think.
And you guys also played 3 teams that actually didn't end up making it through, right? So, I mean, 500 would have been from like the last chance qualifier part, but still.
I think we played super solid. iNation game, first one was a little bit stressful. There were some moments where, people could feel the nerves, but as soon as we hit the ground running with the Falcons game, for example, like that was, in my eyes, we were just outclassing them. And the 500 game, apart from the hiccup on the Mirage, I think we were just miles above them, which is kind of crazy because 1 week, 2 weeks ago, I think that wasn't a deal. Like we were much more sloppier back then.
A lot of work in recent times, and now we've got the first win, the first thing checked off the list for the year.
Yes, okay. And it feels amazing, honestly.
Okay.
See, Acor and Kios are in chat. I think they don't like the comment you made about being the best team in the group. Gamer Legion were also there.
But they played RMR.
Look at this. They played Anonimo, Illuminar, and Heat. All 3 didn't qualify. Make of that what you want.
I think. I mean, last time we met Gamer Legion, we owned them 2-0. So that's this debate at least. But we will see. I think we're seeing each other at the RMR, because I think we were the first seed from our group, and Gamer Legion is the seed number 2. But since there were only 7 teams in our RMR group, I think we might face each other in the first round as the only guy. Everyone else will meet someone that was invited with someone who qualified. But only me, only Apeks and Gamer Legion will be like 2 teams that qualified playing each other, I think.
Oh, yeah, so you would be 8th seed and there would be 9th seed is what you're saying, essentially, yeah.
Oh,
okay. That is possible, actually, the way you're explaining it, yeah.
All right, there you go. So we've started something here. A bit of banter.
So STYKO said he's gonna own them. He's gonna shit on them.
There we go. We started it here live. That's what we're talking about. We need a bit more of that, All right, let's look at these lists, I suppose, right? Because we can talk about the matches, but let's see who we're going to have at the RMRs, and that'll help us with a bit of a reference point here. So I know you were making a list. This is for Group A. Lucas, you bring that one up.
Checking it twice.
You were making a list, Striker, on the notable names who didn't make it. Do you want to list through some of those now? And as we bring up the ones who did, we can maybe have our commiserations of which ones stand out the most. Read us off your list.
I did like the top 30 teams that are ranked like in Europe, essentially, that,
Okay.
I missed out, which is Copenhagen Flames, Endpoint, Movistar Riders. That would be the three biggest ones that I think people would kind of like miss in that list.
We understand
Bengal-
Endpoint, right? Because of the whole Nertz thing's just been taken away from
Yeah,
him.
that is really unfortunate. You know, like literally a player gets taken away just before the qualifiers. Obviously, he cannot play because otherwise he would be locked out if they qualify. You know, so that makes perfect sense. Unfortunate, honestly. Like Endpoint has been like such an organization that has like done a really good job, kind of like scouting new people and just like continuously building pretty competitive teams that are kind of like on the fringe of top 30 consistently. And you know, for this to happen like this last minute, it always sucks. And then Sangal didn't make it already through the open qualifiers, and then there's like Havu, Eyeballers, Partizan also didn't make it through the open qualifiers. Luminar and Permita would be the European top 30 essentially that missed out.
STYKO, out of these teams, which one do you, from your like experience, which one stands out as like maybe they should have been at least at the RMR?
I'm not sure if STYKO mentioned Sinners.
Oh yeah, I'm true.
Like they didn't make it from open qualifier, but I think they're capable of being here and playing good Counter-Strike. But I don't know what happened. Like Sinners is the one that I'm gonna be missing the most out of all the teams that we didn't mention.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I guess it's because now we still go into another 32 teams, right? These are two 16 team fucking Swiss. So we're dealing with it's a shitload of teams. So on the screen right now, we have Group A for everybody. So in Group A, you've got FaZe, Na'Vi, Outsiders, OG, Fnatic, Mouse, Saw, Bad News Eagle, Sprout, Gamer Legion, Falcons, Apeks, One Win, Into the Breach, Bait, and Viperio. With the Gizmodo Dragon. I was watching their games, watching some of their matches. Yeah, I you know, it was interesting to see the different types of Counter-Strike on display here. You know, the different levels of CS as well, and a lot of different names. It was, man, I know I'm going back to this, but it was a lot of fun watching those games because it was high stakes again, and just seeing some of these teams. Like an accomplishment for some of these names is getting to an RMR, right? Because our qualification system continues to develop. And these are 32 of the best teams in Europe, which we all know is the strongest region for Counter-Strike. So this is the creme de la creme, right? And this will be fun. This is where there's genuine heartbreak.
This group itself looks kind of pretty stacked. But then when you look at the other group, then you realize this one is the easy one. Yeah, I think the Group B has like 9 top 20 teams. And only 8 go through. Like the 9th goes to the last chance qualifier. Like a couple of more goes to the last chance. But that's fucking insane when you think of it. Like it's pretty stacked. If like 1 or 2 of the lower teams make an upset, you're gonna miss, you know, Astralis, Big, ENCE, whatever. All of these teams are kind of realistically could easily miss out, right? Big could not qualify. Astralis could not qualify. It wouldn't be like a huge surprise when you look at the team list here, like who says that Eternal Fire can't make it through instead of like one of the top 8 teams that we have or top 9.
Yeah, for our audio only listeners, the Group B for the European RMRs is going to be Heroic, Cloud9, Big, ENCE, Vitality, NIP, Spirit, 9, Hades team, G2, Eternal Fire, Astralis, Monty, iNation, Aurora, Fours, and 500. You guys were talking about before we went live with some stats around Eternal Fire and just a shitload of maps, weren't you, STYKO?
Yeah, they played 25 maps in 5 days, like including the open qualifier, the CCT, and I actually don't know about the open qualifier, but the closed qualifier as well.
That's only 5 maps a day.
It's not terrible.
What are you complaining about?
There was one day that they played. They could have played 4 series if they lost the 2-1 match in the closed qualifier. They would have played a 4th series somewhere at the end of the day.
They're going to play another series today as well. So it's
they already
be closer.
are playing it actually.
Yeah. So there's going to be close to 30 in like 5 days, which is fucking.
They're winning
insane.
against Bad News. It's 15-9 against Bad News Eagles in the CCT Grand Final. By the way, they could like legit fucking respect to Eternal Fire for this. I said this before we went live because you know there was like 4s who like failed pretty hard in both CCT and the close qualifier.
As long as you make it, you didn't fail.
Huh?
As long as you make it, you didn't fail. You know, they still qualified.
Right. But I mean, in terms of CCT, they did pretty badly, at least. And they were complaining kind of about like, okay, we're not going to do this again. And you know, then there's Eternal Fire who were fairly comfortable in qualifying, and now they are actually playing for the win in CCT. You know, like that's, and I know like from our writer who's actually in Malta, like watching them play and watching them act like they are really fucking tired apparently after all these few days, So
No
like props
surprises
to
there.
them. Yeah,
I mean, you have
of
to add
course.
to the context as well what happened in Turkey. Like it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Oh, yeah,
like
of course,
how resilient these guys are, and like it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot
Respect.
going on for them at the moment, that's for sure. Well, let's do this because Group B, you're not in Group B, STYKO. So let's focus on Group B here. Now we have our front running pack, right? It's obviously G2, Heroic, Vitality, Spirit, Cloud9, Big, Astralis, NIP, and ENCE. But there's a problem. I just named 9 teams there. So let's say that they're the strong 9 and not the team 9. Like there's a couple of them that are in danger, right?
I'm gonna kill myself.
And
Jesus.
you'd have to think that the safer who's safe? G2 and Heroic. Like if we're going to say safe as houses, would we say G2 and Heroic here?
I will say definitely G2. I
Okay.
felt their strength at the practice today. They're insane.
Okay. How much?
What
was the score?
I don't want to
Just say it.
I don't want
A gentleman never says.
I don't want to share it because they might be like, but they
I mean,
kicked
you
our
can say
asses.
the score.
I mean,
surely.
the Hooksy was farming us. It's insane how well he's playing. What the hell?
Okay. The Giga Chad getting it done on the server. So
Yeah.
you said G2 is a sure thing. Surely we could say Heroic as well. Like it's
Yeah.
and I
I
know
think
what we're
Heroic
doing.
also rarely fail like this against these kind of teams.
Okay. So if they're sure, who are we unsure about, right? Because I didn't even mention
I mean, Cloud9.
Cloud9, I really
not
want
safe?
to see at Pro League. I think it's gonna be fine. I believe it's gonna be fine. I really want to believe it's gonna be fine.
Wait.
How many more times do you have to say that?
Is it gonna be fine?
I've it enough times. I'm gonna convince myself it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, guys. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine.
Well,
Right?
it's hard to get worse, right?
I mean, it can. Just look at G2 last year.
Well, I don't know. It's like we've spoken about this before, and it feels like we talk about it till the cows come home. Like it's hard to see a team with Shiro and Axel not doing well. You're right. I guess Pro League is going to be a test to see where the team's at going into the RMRs, right? Like because we're going to have Pro League come to its conclusion, and then it's a week off, and then we're into the RMRs, right? Pretty much straight away. So this next 6 weeks, starting now, is the lead up for everybody to be ready to qualify for the major, and that's basically the position I want for all the viewers to be in as well, right? Because it's important for us to be able to identify when these teams are looking for their peaks. And for every name that we've listed here, it doesn't need to be a winning, fucking best team in the world peak at this moment, but it needs to be a peak to take care of business, right? That's what you're looking for here. You're either going to do it in spectacular fashion by having some close matches and clutching out, and it's going to be crazy and emotional, or you're a better team, which Cloud9 should be, and you're meant to go in there and just get it done. Just a couple of 16-9s, put them to bed, walk it across the line, get yourself into the major. But it doesn't really go that way with them, does it? Not all the time.
No. I think Spirit is another team that is, especially now that they kind of bombed out of the CCT and not playing the best teams either. They lost to ENCE playing with the stand-in and Movistar Riders, both really close series. I mean, they probably should have won both series, but still, like the fact that they're capable, like a team like Spirit that we've kind of seen as like the next potential kind of like stable top 10 team, I think that was pretty disappointing. Obviously,
they're lacking stability, quite literally, in terms of their players at the moment. It's so sporadic. Like,
100%.
That's the issue with them. They just can't consistently perform right now.
Yeah,
Bro,
even
the last
Wonderful had a
two-
couple of like off games, and like then Patsy obviously is just very like up and down in terms of impact. And then if you don't have Magics on, that you are in a problem. So
I don't know. I think they're gonna be fine. Like I think despite everything, the CCT tournament wasn't like number one priority. But losing to Movistar, who then go on and like the interview with that Alex gave, it's like our goal was to win a single match.
Like a
and
grim
they won
interview.
2. Fucking insane. That's like peak Alex right there. That's amazing.
But you have to think about as well. Spirit, I think, were playing on the CCT to one game until like 4 in the morning.
oh yeah.
And they were
dude,
delayed on a travel
I wrote
day
that
as well.
match report. That was rough.
Yeah, so I
That's
don't know how
true.
that affected it, but me as a
They
player,
also
I can
had-
tell you
yeah.
that it affects a lot. Like to completely screw up your sleeping schedule, playing schedule, and diet and
Unfriendly
whatever.
V in chat also adds that they had like a really fucked up travel day. I don't know what happened,
yeah, the
but
day
there was
before.
some of the Lufthansa bullshit that was going on at the time with like a lot of canceled flights and delayed stuff.
All
So like all of that together gives like a small asterisk. I wouldn't
100%.
write them off completely based on that.
However, what
one
I'm really
tournament.
scared for is Vitality. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Okay, so they're going to have dupreeh during this ESL Pro League campaign, and then he's going to come back from paternity leave to try and qualify for the major.
That's,
that-
I guess, the plan.
is-
I think
that
that's
is
the
the plan.
plan.
So then, pretty good reason to be scared if you're STYKO over here, because they're about to spend the next couple of weeks practicing with someone who they're not going to use to try and qualify for the major with. That's really scary.
They did mention something along the lines of like they're going to play with dupreeh as much as possible, and then when he's not available, then JACKZ is going to like practice with dupreeh. That was like kind of the comment from Zonic.
Okay.
I don't know how that works in practice. Like, what the group are they playing in EPL?
In Group C, I think that's Cloud9. No, not
Cloud9's in Group A.
FaZe, Rooster Pain, Ninjas in Pajamas, OG,
Yeah.
00 Nation, Greyhound, Vitality.
Yeah, I mean they have a bunch of time, so I don't know what the exact plan is there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but still, it's a big thing for the organization as well. Like that's what the Neo, the owner of CEO of Vitality, he said. Like when they brought the Danish people into the Danish trio into the team, like they are here to win the majors, and there is no sugarcoating it. Like this is the only goal, and especially if it's in Paris, like you want to win it. But I have a huge doubts the way they played even in Qatar, like this 12-0 lead and then and losing. That was like rough to digest.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has faith in them winning the Paris major. I don't think like they're like in the top 5.
But are we worried
right
about
now.
them qualifying here? Like which teams?
I think
here
there's so much pressure built up, man. Like they've been even like if you look at every PR that they put out or like every statement, everything is about lead up to the Paris major, and like every interview they do, it's like we're trying to get ready for the Paris major. Like all of this is like really on. Like the pressure is real on them to qualify. Does that mean they're going to be like under so much pressure at the RMR? Maybe not so much. I think these are guys that are used to that kind of pressure, so it's going to be okay.
But there's some killers here, man.
It is a hard group, man. It's not
there's some
easy
killers
to
here. Like Eternal Fire, right? We're just talking about them having some good runner results. Like Zentaras, that guy's a fucking beast. All it's going to take is for him to have, one just crack series. And we've seen it happen. 9 with
especially
Hades.
best of ones.
Yeah.
Easy.
9 with Hades. They're not bad, are they? Like there's a whole bunch of names in that team that we're talking about with Snacks about some of these guys, but they're pretty decent, I would say. I think Aurora have been on a good tear.
Yeah.
I think they've got some. Yeah, obviously they got Norvi and Kenzie that we remember from the Fours days. But I was watching this Laddick kid on the AWP. He's another one of these.
Kenzie has had kind of like a resurgence. I think in Fours he was struggling, but then in this fucking Aurora team he's been beasting.
They're playing really well.
Would we say Vitality is the team like most under threat out of the expected names here? Because I feel like ENCE with Nertz, for some reason that just feels like I'm like, oh shit, like okay, let's go. Like we're going to talk about ENCE a little bit later, but I'm much more excited about this move because seeing Nertz at Endpoint, he was getting everything done. Like he was playing such an impactful role. Seeing him on ENCE now, I know it's going to take time to get him involved in the team, but I have a bit of renewed faith. Is that maybe a bit premature?
I think it's a huge upgrade though over Valde. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked the Valde move that much, so I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be worse. And I also think like the way ENCE play, they don't need that much time to plug him in the system. I don't think it's like heroic or some shit that you need to really understand everything inherently. It's more like we're doing this and just like roll with it, right? And I think they can be informed by the time the RMR rolls. That's like a month and a half almost until that. So I think they can do it.
Yeah, it seems like Snappy is generally kind of good at just having creating a lot of freedom for his players, or at least like the least to think about from what even like Spinks was saying about the differences between how Vitality and how ENCE play, right? Like ENCE is really a lot of calling from kind of like from the start of the round, and then there's kind of a lot of freedom from there, and there's not like big reactions and like super complicated protocols that like some of these like high top teams have, right? So I think that's going to make things a bit easier for Nertz.
Which other teams here are scary, right? We're obviously looking at the ones that qualified. That's what we just came off the back of. Like Fours, you said they were pretty hit and miss, as mainly miss striker. So are they a team? Like, because I feel that there are so many names here that we've just spoken about that could like swoop and have those upset victories and challenge these bigger names.
I mean,
like,
I think the two biggest ones that I would look at. I mean, ENCE from like the bottom 8, sure, of course, but like Aurora and Eternal Fire definitely stand out from that crowd, I think. Because Aurora have just like ever since they've put this team together, they've been on a different level. Like they immediately went into the top 30, started like really beating some of the like big teams. They even had a chance to beat Astralis in that CCT final. Like they really seem like the next up and coming team from the CS region, and so them is the team that I would be looking at the most. And then Eternal Fire is just, I think, a constant kind of like threat to these teams. They just have I don't know what it is about them necessarily, but they've always been competitive.
Okay. STYKO, is any of these names scaring you that aren't like the big dogs?
I think I wanted to bring up, as you said, Eternal Fire is like constant threat, and I feel the same about Monte in Best of Ones.
Okay.
Like if first of all, when Samda Young joined them, like I think they're playing super well compared to like previous iteration of the team, and then again we will see Voro 2K on LAN, and if he can bring like his game into the LAN environment as well, what he's performing usually online, like it's gonna be a hell of a upset potential team.
Maybe the same for Boros, right? It doesn't feel like we've seen him on LAN a lot.
Yeah, I have the same feeling, and I think whenever he's playing, he's like playing under conditions like huge ping or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think if he can like perform even better on LAN environment, like I think that team is gonna be scary. It shouldn't be underestimated at all.
Okay.
You played against iNation in the qualifier. They're like they're the lowest ranked team here, and kind of the biggest surprise, I would say. What are they like to play against?
I think I'm honestly surprised they made it. Like I don't think it was that scary, the game. I think we were always in control, and as I said, we were definitely nervous a little bit. First game, first best of one, so it got pretty close towards the end. But you know, it was a newbies and everything. Like I don't want to make excuses, but I just felt like they were pretty easy to play against. With all respect, I mean, like they're good players. Obviously, they made it in, but you know, I think they are the least scary team in the group.
Yeah, I mean, they are the least experienced by far. That very clearly.
It's definitely a big result for them to even be there. So that's.
But look
nice.
at the names they took. They took Taz, JW Flusher, and Alu.
That's true. Yeah. And it says it's cool when you say it like that, but it's also
like when you think of it
from today's standpoint, it's like it doesn't feel like a big achievement, right?
Come on, man! I'm just painting the story here. You know, iNation, they made it to the semi-finals. They've taken down such legends as Taz, Flusher, JW, and even both of Alu's balls. Right? You know, like you could do so much with it. Anyway, we need to go to a quick ad break. We'll be right back. Lucas, roll the ads. We'll be back in fucking 60 seconds or something. I forgot to do it at 9 o'clock.
It's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, good vibe.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Bet. Your bet. Your game.
Thanks for bearing through the ads, everybody. What is everyone spamming in the chat?
Celio.
Honestly,
what does this mean?
You are the biggest zoomer. Like you know the XUC stuff. You know, you can actually understand what the guy is saying. So like you are which gone wrong or
what's
whatever.
happening here? Everyone's just spamming it. It's like a party, but I'm not in on the I'm not
What
in
are
on
they
the
spamming?
excitement. I don't know. I'm googling it.
We're the odd ones out right
I'm
now.
googling it.
It's-
Is it
It's-
music?
Oh,
To see the results.
oh,
who the
Huh?
fuck is that?
yeah, I don't know who the fuck's that.
Okay. Wow, man, that's
Oh,
crazy.
Colt is playing there.
Ash Cup.
Oh,
Winners.
okay. That's nuts, man. That's
It's
insane.
because Overdrive rated us, and he streamed in Cilio, and he asked
Okay.
to spam in Cilio.
No,
I see.
right.
So it's
Okay.
Overdrive's fault, man.
It makes sense. We all know why Smooya lost. Well, at least we're paying attention. So the ESEA Winter 2023 Cash Cup number 4 for Europe. Smooya's team lost to in Cilio.
In Cilio, man.
That's the hottest news. That's the
in Cilio.
Thanks Overdrive. I
Stop
guess.
the presses.
All right. Well, we were talking about Alu's balls, but let's get back to talking about the Counter-Strike here. Anybody else in because we're going to talk about Pro League stuff too. So we are really just focusing on a lot of these teams we won't see during Pro
watch
League.
the Astralis games?
I watched parts of them. I didn't watch like any of their
I
full
watched the
series. I don't
LDLC
think.
game.
Oh,
and I
that was
witnessed
16-14 loss.
Amanek
Amanek.
fucking acing them.
He was owning.
literally 1v1 duels, killing everyone.
He looks so sharp, Amanek.
It was great. Like Astralis started 5-0 on the CT side and like 3-0 on the T side and lost like 16-14 or some shit. It was insane. Absolute insane scenes. LDLC was so much better. It was crazy. But then they bounced back. Like they played not that amazing team, but still like
They got
can't
the
take
job
it away.
done.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is what it is essentially.
Baby steps for them. All right. Let's jump into Group A. We'll talk about STYKO's group here. So I mentioned it before. I'll read out the names again. FaZe, Na'Vi, Outsiders, OG, Fnatic, Mouse, Saw, Bad News Eagles, Sprout, Gamer Legion, Falcons, Apeks, One Win, Into the Breach, Bait, and Viperio. Which I guess this one here, it's hard to say.
I could see like any of the bottom 13 teams making it through.
I feel like the top 4 or 5 though in this one feels
except for
safer
Viperio.
for me. Like the top
Really?
4 or 5 in this group feels safer than B.
Okay.
And then it's like the last 3 spots I could see anybody take.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think FaZe,
yeah.
Na'Vi, Outsiders are the 3 teams that I think are locks.
Yeah,
I just feel
OG
the way
with Nico-
Outsiders play, it's hard for them to lose.
OG, I think, are in danger. I think I'm not sure about Fnatic, but
Well,
I
what's
guess they
happening with
are.
Nexa?
Well, I don't think he's back. They said for the major cycle,
No,
he's going to be
they've kind
Nico.
of pretty clearly said that Nico is going to play the major too.
Yeah, at least they'll be able to take timeouts and have Rugged chip in for 30 seconds, 4
I
times
guess
a
so.
game. At least they have that. That's fucked.
Who was
but there's, like-
IGLing in the qualifier?
Nico.
Dexter.
I heard
No,
Nico. I
Nico
heard
was
Dexter.
Nico was calling. The whole Dexter thing was a meme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that wasn't real.
Amazing
I
meme.
doubled
So
checked, and
hilarious
apparently he wasn't. I don't know why the fuck he would joke about it. Like it
Chad,
doesn't make any sense.
Give
But
us your
apparently-
informed opinion about Dexter's meme right now.
I don't know. I just can't
Rate-
really
rate-
take anything he says on Twitter now at face value. That kind of sucks.
Oh, is that new or?
No, well, when he stopped following me on Twitter, I'd stop following him, man. I'm one of the most petty cunts there is. You're gonna out petty me, motherfucker? I'll take you to Petty Town. I'll take you downtown. I'm not gonna be out fucking petty.
You're going to go downtown on him?
No, obviously not. That would be someone. Anyway, come on now. All right, let's.
I think Fnatic and Mouse pretty safe. I would say for those two
It's fairly
teams.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the rest is kind of a bloodbath, right? Like I feel like, what do you feel like, STYKO, when you look at this? Feels pretty achievable to reach the top.
I think so as well. And I'm surprised you said Mouse and Fnatic are pretty safe. I think those are the teams from the
I don't think
top,
they're safe.
top that I would honestly love to play.
I'd love
yeah.
to have a swing.
All right.
Yeah. I think FaZe and Outsiders probably right now are the biggest like threat to us.
You
I would-
wouldn't want to play them.
yeah.
You would
Navi,
avoid them if possible.
Navi, honestly, like what they've been doing last couple of events, I like. If you asked me this question like months ago, I would be like, yeah, Navi definitely scary, but I don't feel this like they're not scary at all. Like with the current gameplay, I feel like.
I don't think they're playing current meta Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and yeah, Fnatic, Mouse, both of them are teams that I would love to face. And out of anyone that qualified, I think we're gonna be even favorites in that matchup. Hopefully, like
Right.
against Saw, Falcons, OG with the Nico, Gamer Legion. I think we're still favorites there. One win, Into the Breach, Viperio B8. Like legit, I think we're favorites in almost every matchup.
You reckon you're a favorite
I mean,
against
Bad News
Captain
Eagles
Kurt?
would be. Oh,
Sorry.
You reckon you're a favorite against Captain Kurt? I've been watching that guy from Bait. He's fucking nuts, Captain Kurt. He's not.
I agree. I agree that these guys are like they're so sharp. Like it's insane. And Wrinkle guy as well is really like.
I call him Runkle, like
Runkle?
Charlie
Okay.
Runkle from Californication.
Oh, Charlie. Yeah, I missed
There we
that
go.
show.
I knew you were a man of culture.
I mean, I'm more of a Hang Moody, of course, favorite, but Charlie was a character and a half. I love the guy.
He brought a lot to the show.
Of course.
Okay, so you got some confidence there. I feel like Sprout have gone down the drain, boys.
Yeah,
like
I
all
am
my
really
hype I have for Sprout, it's all
Bro.
gone.
Talking about Sprout, just thinking about the fantasy, how like refresh destroyed me mentally, physically,
bro, I was
metaphysically.
bought 90, what, like top 90% or some shit because of refresh.
Absolutely. And then Spirit as well bomb out. Like I can't even. It's disgusting. But like definitely so fucking upset with what happened with Sprout, and it doesn't feel reasonable that they did this. Like I understand. Okay, they want an IGL, but why don't you like get an IGL first?
And
Because
then
your
make the
results so
move.
far have been up and down, but like not that bad. Like their Katowice performance was okay. Okay, they didn't qualify for EPL, but didn't seem like a disaster. But now their results are a disaster. Like they're playing with fucking Barry. Like Barry, he became a coach for a reason. We all know this.
Yeah.
So it's just disappointing to see like all of the potential of these players kind of being wasted. And I feel like this is now where they get in the scary moment. If they don't fix things soon, then the poaching potential rises because people will want to leave if they can't find an IGL, right? And then the Astralis offer might be more enticing than it was 3 months ago.
And I think they were trialing Maze as well, but it was like
Yeah.
Played
Yeah.
it
two
was like
games.
2 games, and
Yeah,
and
that was literally
better
2
stick with the
games.
code. Like Maze was one of the guys actually we trialed as well, and I wouldn't say that he wasn't capable of leading the team. I think there must have been something going on in Sprout that they choose like to play with the coach instead.
Yeah, it feels for a team that's normally really good at managing like these type of situations when they get players taken, they've done this quite poorly. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's a reason for it. So from this conversation, right? When I mentioned, I feel like I said like top 5. Let's say like top 4 kind of feels safe. Whatever top 4 I decide that to be. But then outside of that, I'm having a look, and I don't know if I would say like OG, Fnatic, and Mouse all wouldn't make it, but I could say I could see one of them not
Yeah.
making it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think like once we get into, you guys mentioned best of ones, I think Anubis is going to add some interesting conversations to some of these teams as well. I think Anubis is right now it's still being ironed out, right? I think we've definitely settled on a lot of ways that it can be played, and the meta is still developing here. But like I don't know. I think it's going to play a big factor in an event like this when we have, and again, 6 weeks. All of these teams, like one win just came together, they qualified, right? Now they get the next 6 weeks to get everything together, right? So
Are you excited to play one win, STYKO?
Oh, I expected this question. Well, we have a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna like. Yeah, I like playing them. It's gonna be fun. We practice them. There was one guy in the server that was muted. Guess who was that? I mean, let's just play. I mean, we're here to play Counter-Strike, and I think they're better team with Boomich and Forrester and Nickelback.
will you chat shit at LAN?
I mean-
We'll yell stuff out because he doesn't seem to me the type of kid who would. He seems very quiet. So you think you could get in
Yeah.
his head, use the mental warfare?
I mean, you should just be careful before the RMR so you can practice on faces, because I'm gonna swoop in and throw a report here and there. Oh, well, I'm kidding, but I think it was unacceptable what happened, like legit.
I don't know what happened. I just know that there's
Yeah,
some
I don't want to
beef,
get
man.
into it. I mean, it's pointless. Like whatever. Like we're kind of over it, right? We just want to play Counter-Strike.
I just watched a video that somebody like had compiled together. I didn't like, and all I heard was him like swearing a lot. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
The thing is stupid, like, because that video was made from a game against me. Like that game, nothing bad happened. Like the thing is, like, there are games later that he plays against Inters, and it's mad shit that is going on in the voice comms of that team. Like legit, it's bad things. Like people in NA would be being dropped like this in an instant from the organization. No chance to coming back.
Fucking hell. We don't know the language, prof. They're safe.
Yeah, they're safe.
They're safe. They
the
can't be
language
cancelled.
barrier.
I knew English was a problem. No, all right. Well, you can't, Prof and Strike, you got to help me here to get me out of this situation. You can't leave me floundering here. We're trying
You're
to get
the
out.
Host. You're paid for this. You can't get-
What
Yeah,
are we
but you're
trying-
the
what are we
support
trying to do,
network,
chat?
right?
What are
You
we
meant
trying to
to-
do, chat?
You're meant to help navigate me out of
Will
these waters.
Falcons qualify? This is the question. This is what everyone wants to know. This is the clip that Dimitri is going to make for fucking whatever the social
Kenny
medias.
S.
Yes. Is Kenny S going to be in Paris?
I think there's a good chance, to be honest. Like, I don't think they will, but I think there's a chance.
Yeah, well, of course there's a chance they're competing.
No, but
Call him out, Chad.
but like that's the thing. Like, out of these, like, let's say there's like the middle group of, even including OG, because they're kind of like higher ranked than
They're the
I
only
think
French
they deserve to be
team.
at the moment. That like
Ay,
any of them could
caramba.
qualify. So
They're the only French team, guys. Why aren't we talking about this?
Are they gonna make it, STYKO? Are they gonna make it?
Falcons?
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking me questions
They're
that
not
will
gonna make it.
backfire so much to me. Like,
Just say they're
people
not
will
gonna make it.
send these. They're not gonna make it.
And now they're going to make it. And now there's the story. This is where it starts. This is their article. This is their imperial storyline.
there's so many things that we could pick out, like in a couple of weeks or in 2 months'
Yeah.
time, when you play all these teams that you talk to, like
These-
Fnatic, Mouse,
so many
Falcons,
things will
Gamer
age like a
Legion,
milk.
man.
Yeah.
It's, the only good thing about this is, like, you mentioned 4 teams that you'd beat, and you can't lose to 4 teams at the end.
That's true.
I mean, we are. I'm gonna say we are confident, okay? And maybe it's confidence speaking right now because we're 3-0, made it through, but we'll see what happens. Like, I mean, no team that made it here made it by accident. It's impossible to do this through best of ones. You have to be good to win best of ones, and whatever happens there, happens there. I'm just gonna say that Falcons are one of the teams we feel comfortable playing against because, like, we beat them in Inferno in this close qualifier, and I think it was the cleanest game or cleanest map we have played throughout the whole qualification process. Like, there was almost no resistance felt.
Okay.
What do you feel for you guys? Like, is making the major like a must?
That's a good question, Prof.
Making RMR was a must, I feel like. Making major, like, I'm just gonna speak for myself. Like, if we don't make it, but we will lose to, like, last map 16-14, and we would play like FaZe, Outsiders, OG, Navi, like good teams, then if we played well, yes, I'm gonna be happy with how we played. But if we're not gonna make it and we lost to, like, I don't know, Viperio and Into the Breach and someone else,
That's 6
Falcons?
teams. That's 6 teams.
yeah, so listen to me. Then I'm gonna be pretty unhappy with the result. Obviously, we're going there to qualify, but all I really care about is playing really good and consistent and annoying CS. And if we manage to do it, the results will come, naturally.
Okay.
And therefore we will qualify. So this is how I look at it, because I can't, like, it's not a must, obviously. But making it there is our dream. We are chasing that dream. We're chasing that feeling of winners, mentality, whatever. And this is all the reasons we wake up every day and go into practice and talk about Counter-Strike for 12 hours per day.
Yeah.
I need to know because Chris, who is playing for Viperio, Viperino, he's in the chat right now, but he's not. I don't know. I don't think he's actually on the roster. I think he's like a stand-in. So I need to know: is he playing? Is he the man who's going to be trying to qualify with the lads? Is he going to be flying the flag? He's just a stand-in, so he doesn't get to play. He qualified for him and doesn't get to play.
Well, maybe he travels with them and just intimidates everyone. I think.
That's sad. Man.
Security guy.
Wait, is he playing? He said, "Yeah, I am." Is he playing? Is he not playing?
I mean, what did you say?
I'm trying to work out if he's playing or not playing. I don't know what he's saying. Yes, I am. Be careful, mate. I don't know what he's.
Be careful.
He
Be
is
careful
playing.
what
There
you
you
say.
go. That's what I was saying. This is what I wanted to bring up because he's in the chat. So he qualified, so he gets to play. That's kind of nice. Like yeah. There you go.
Crits.
So there you go. You can play against him, and now he's got a bit of fuel to the fire. Now he can get back in the server. I think he was talking shit once someone lost a 1v1 against him. At one point, he put a smiley face in. I was patrolling their games, man. I was really paying as much attention as possible. Okay, so I think here we've actually covered a decent amount of stuff with a lot of these names.
Yeah, we can kind of transition towards the whatever.
The Pro League stuff, because we spoke about let's speak about Vitality and ENCE in a little bit more depth with their roster changes, right? And then we can go from there. Lucas, do you want to roll the recent news bumper? Does that sound like something you want to do, Matt? Do you want to do that for everybody? All right, Lucas, roll the bumper, mate.
Oh no.
All right, we're back. We're going to blast through a lot of this because we already touched on it. So JACKZ will be playing for Vitality, and Nertz is going to be joining ENCE for valde. Do anybody want to get on their soapbox and make a case or say their piece about these two changes?
Honestly,
one temporary, one permanent.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I think JACKZ for dupreeh is a downgrade, even though dupreeh hasn't been playing super well. I feel like it's a significant downgrade for Vitality as a team. First of all,
if communication was bad before,
communication is going to be worse for sure. I think individually JACKZ has not been amazing. I don't think he's gonna fucking run in and like take down 3 guys on a bomb site. I think that time has, if it's ever been for JACKZ, it's not here anymore. So I feel like it's not an easy time to find a replacement nowadays, especially someone that's gonna come in whenever you want, do whatever you want, and all of that, and knowing it's not like a permanent thing for most likely. But I just feel like it's for a team that has already had issues, it's just gonna make things worse. That's it.
Okay. Looking at their group, I feel like it's going to be okay anyway. I mean, they're playing Greyhound first, and then OG00 Nation are on the other side, and so there's like that's a way to the playoffs pretty much paved for them. And so, like from that aspect, I think they're going to do okay at Pro League, and that's pretty much the only tournament that we know that they will do this with. And there's seems to be some potential that dupreeh is even going to come back for playoffs. So, like just from all kinds of angles, it feels like it's not a big deal.
Okay. So
this group is pretty trash, to be honest.
The group is fairly weak, especially given the OG situation at the moment. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we did discuss the ENCE situation as well, and I think STYKO said he thinks it's a significant upgrade.
Yeah,
I think the same.
I mean, this was a move that they actually planned. Like that was one of the options they had when they were considering valde. There was him, Kakanito, valde, and one more name that I'm forgetting now. That were kind of like in the Longs. It was the one that Longs was the one that it's even kind of public that they confirmed that they inquired about and just got blocked by Sprout essentially. And so those were the 4 names that I remember were kind of like on the docket for them. And Nertz was one of the people that they even trialed, I think, for a time, but just didn't work out. So like this is just the move that was supposed to happen half a year ago, because that was just much more. I think valde was never going to be the choice because it was very clear that ENCE just lacked firepower and valde was not stepping up to the level that they needed. Like they just needed another star, and that just wasn't the case. So this is the move that they just should have made already before.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And anyone else have anything they want to add about ENCE? No?
We talked about them already. I think it's a very, very obvious move.
They had to play in the CCT, which is going on right now with a stand-in from their academy roster, a Finnish lad. I think it was Henu was his name. Yep. They placed 3rd. Movistar Riders 4th, Spirit 5th, 6th, alongside of 4s, and Sprout and Hanara 7th, 8th. And right now the grand final is going on. It's map number 2, Bad News Eagles versus Eternal Fire. I want to use this because Eternal Fire are going to be in Group A of Pro League. We'll just transition across, talk a little bit about Pro League, and then holy shit, we might be out of here in 2 hours for once. Doesn't happen very often around here in the HLTV confirmed lay of the land. There's the link for everybody who is in the call right now. We're on TeamSpeak. We're not in the call. What am I talking about? Anyway,
chat, can you tell us what the fuck is going on? What is this whole hype about EPL changes and shit like that? Like, what is the broadcast? Is the broadcast actually going to be good?
I don't know.
Actually going to be watchable? We'll
find out.
Really? Not really.
I saw the video.
Convincing.
I saw the. Do you want to play that video? I mean, we could play it.
Maybe
right? I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Without the music.
Is that going to be music? I mean, that's chat talking over it, right?
I'm talking about that. You can just mute it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. I mean, you can talk over it now.
Let me get the link. I'll send it to Lucas.
Because I think it's kind of like a cool look at like what that's going to look like. And
Yeah,
just
so
generally kind of we
basically-
can talk through it.
I don't know if people listen to the other show I do with Jason and I was gonna say Jason and Moses, Jason and Yanko. But anyway, this presentation where I'm kind of talking over it is like a 3D render of what it might look like. I don't know. I haven't been down there. I don't know exactly what the studio space looks like. It's missing a couple of key elements that I had suggested to them and would have liked them to bring in, but maybe can't do Twitter right now. That's all right, Lucas. It's all good, mate. But that's unfortunate, mate. Elon's locking it down. Doesn't want you to be on it. Unlucky. You've lost your fan. But yeah. Anyway, long story short, you can check this out. It was tweeted about by ESLCS. I retweeted it earlier. But it's just the studio has everything a bit more contained. So instead of a desk, we're going to have a couch. Hopefully, more encouraging to have players come and sit and chat with us. Like having Twist doing the desk during the IEM finals was really nice. The casting setup is going to be like 2 streamer setups. So when we're not using them for casting, we can use them if you want to play some, get a player over, you jump in a server with and run around a bit. You get a bit of one-on-one action going on. Is going to be more dynamic set areas to do more fun stuff. Because look, if you take a look at Pro League, and I understand that for some teams this is their Super Bowl, it's for smaller regions, and the games would be definitely given their dues. But this is 5 weeks worth of Counter-Strike. And the entertainment needs to be a little bit different from tune in, dry desk segment, into game to dry desk segment. There needs to be some fun. There's some repetition to a Pro League.
Shots fired at desks right now. Chad.
No, but it's not. This
think
is a
your
fun
colleagues
event.
are trash. Okay.
This is the desks won't be structured.
Dry.
They won't
Okay.
be structured like a desk segment.
There you go.
Right?
Chad. Lucas is showing it now.
Yeah,
least I
okay.
hope.
You can play that render, Lucas. Go nuts. But I don't remember where I started with this here, but the back area where like the couch and everything is, which is this shot right here. This is like the main hub of the event, right? So this is where you have anything. Like it's not just going to be. There's another thing as well. There's no like roles in this event, like other than the hosts, right? Like commentators, analysts, everybody's going to be doing a bit of everything. And the idea is to encourage more people to be involved in more stuff. And the players will be walking by to the setups. There's an area there for the players to watch. There's a snacks table, right? It's what we're going to be attempting to do here is give like the live feeling of what's happening at the event to everybody, like it was at Summits back in the day, right? Where you'd see players walking past to
Seems
go
pretty
set up.
summit inspired. So
Yeah,
just to so it's still gonna be like A stream primarily and then B stream.
I think B
remote,
stream's
or-
only there for 1 or 2 days. I don't think
Okay.
B stream is there
That's
on
gonna
site.
be remote then. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
but it's only for 1 or 2 days. The rest of it, I think, it will all just be on the A stream. I don't think there's a whole lot of B stream action. So yeah, there's only a few things.
There are coinciding matches though. Kind of a lot of them. Like all the openers are.
Yeah, so on the 1 or 2 days, there's an A and a B stream.
Of every group though, you mean?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
every week, right? Like we restart a group every week, right?
Okay.
So 1 or 2 days of every week, there'll be an A and a B stream, and then the rest of it, there'll just be like an A stream, right?
makes
And some
sense.
days we'll have like on each stream, we'll have 2 or 3 best of 3s.
Okay.
But basically, the long story short with that render is we're just changing the way that the broadcast feels. There'll hopefully be a lot more fun. There'll hopefully be a lot more trying to assimilate the players into the broadcast, giving them an environment where they want to come and sit and just chill and talk about Counter-Strike with us, because that's what we have available to us. 5 weeks where we can actually sit there and enjoy it and create a bit of an atmosphere about it, right? Whack some of these players and sit down and when a match is on, if they want to come over while we're casting and point out some stuff, that's great. Like we want to educate as many people, and that includes the people on the broadcast. So the more of a relationship we can build between everybody, that's going to be the key to the show. In terms of different elements, there will be different stuff. It'll have a bit of a different look in terms of what we're doing, and we'll see how it is. Maybe people like it, maybe you don't, but we're trying something new. You've been to a summit, haven't you, STYKO?
Yeah, I'd love to be there. And we could try to qualify next time.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's so many different ways to get in there, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
You're playing ECL for this season, or when does it start? Actually, I have no idea.
I think we played first game, which we lost, and now we have to climb the lower bracket. We're playing Sprout. I think we were supposed to play them like 2 days ago, but we had to reschedule because of everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of a blurry in my eyes right now because we have a lot of tournaments that we're about to attend. So I can't give you answers right now. Maybe we should just become a partner team or something and skip this whole process.
Just spend the money, mate. Just spend
Sounds
the
like
money.
a good deal.
You know,
Some
it's
of that
cheap to buy
Norwegian
in.
oil money.
First, we bring results, and then we can talk about this. Okay,
There we
so
go.
Paris Major is gonna be the first step towards me having you guys around on the couch in Malta. Okay,
There you go.
Yeah.
That's an extra motivation.
That's all I want in life, honestly.
I
That's all
mean,
I want.
I mean, I haven't seen you guys in real life for forever, man.
Bro, I was actually
miss you
thinking-
so much.
I was thinking about this, and the last time we saw each other, it's gonna be 4 years.
Holy
soon.
shit.
What the?
God.
The fucking Star Ladder Major, like the RMRs when you're playing for no chance.
Yeah,
That's
I remember that. Everything about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into that.
what's
I mean-
happened in the elevator stays in the elevator, as they say.
Elevator. But yeah, that's the point. Like, I need to motivate myself as well in these ways. Like, it's not about CS only, but the people you meet at these events. In COVID was rough, but now there's no excuse anymore, and it's just our gameplay has to be better to qualify for these events. And yeah, I would love to see you guys there.
All right. Well, maybe we get STYKO on the couch next season. But let's jump in looking at this season here, Lucas. I just sent you the link. Can you bring up the single elimination bracket at the top? You'll have to expand it. I want to start with the playoffs so we can work backwards, so we understand what these groups of people are playing
Bro, I
for.
looked at the playoff single elimination bracket, and I was just, it looked so overwhelming. It literally just like knocked me out. There's like a high kick. Mirko Krokop in his prime just like destroyed me instantly.
So this is why I wanted to start here, right? So one of the keys here is there are going to be 4 teams from each group, and we have 4 groups of 8
16
teams, right? So 16 teams will make the playoffs. We have 32 teams in total, and they've expanded it. They didn't do the play-ins again this time around. They've changed the format again. Hooray! Let's see how it plays out this time, right? Let's see how this one is. But just so people are aware, the first team in each group will skip all the way through to the quarterfinals, right? So whichever team is playing on that, I guess, I don't know which day it'll be on. I guess it'll be towards the tail end of the week, like a Friday or a Saturday or something. The matchup to lock themselves in for the quarterfinals. That's going to be a big game. That skips 2 whole rounds of best of 3s. Every team that comes second in their group will be in the round of 12. Well, I guess it's not a round of 12, is it?
It's a round of 12 and then a round of 16.
Okay. And then a round of 16 where we'd have the 3rd place from each group and then the last chance winners, because we're doing little last chance brackets now as well. So we're going to have a lot of Counter-Strike, and we're going to get to see a lot of these teams in the group intersect, and then they'll be set up with the playoff bracket that we just went over. So you can scroll down, Lucas, and we can take a look at Group A, and we can have a bit of a discussion here and work out which team we think is going to go through Group A and take that #1 position. I feel like G2 versus Outsiders / Fnatic is the most likely fixture.
Yeah. Probably Outsiders, realistically, right?
I mean, Fnatic Outsiders have kind of been trading blows recently, so I think there's some some chance that could go the other way.
Did Fnatic beat Outsiders?
I think the last time they played,
Yeah, they
beat them,
did.
no?
Right? That was
No.
it.
That was in
It
in
was
Katowice.
in Katowice. I'm pretty sure it happened.
No.
Yeah.
They did.
No, they did beat them. Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
I know that they had problems like for a long time before that, but then they finally beat them. Yeah,
But can we safely pick 4 names here? Are we just defaulting to like G2, Outsiders, Fnatic,
G2,
Cloud9?
I mean, it's hard to make a case for any of the other 4 like convincingly.
Eternal Fire could be on a hot streak. They're already here in Malta. They're playing some good Counter-Strike. They've just had some big wins. MIBR, they're going to have to travel over shortly. They're probably going to be a bit tired. Hard to see them doing well, but Insani's pretty nuts. IHC, hard to see them build on the success they've already had. And EG have a bounty out on their head. They're keeping their heads down.
That's the question. Like, if Cloud9 aren't there in the top 3-4, that's like a big indictment of where they are right now. Like that would be, despite their Katowice exit, it's like, okay, that is awful, but we're banking on it not happening again in that fashion. Like, they can't lose to IHC again, and they might play against IHC again, which is amazing. That's a great storyline to have. Other than that, like, realistically, like Eternal Fire, MIBR have been playing better, like this Insani kid.
Just not enough to beat best of 3s against.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, so many best of 3s though.
That's
So
true.
many games. Yeah. I'm
That's
looking at
true.
I didn't even know about the format. Now that I'm seeing it, it's
triple
so
elimination,
overwhelming.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
just
it's
so many
essentially-
meaningless games. I'm trying.
It's essentially Swiss, actually.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, because
like
triple
3
elimination.
chances. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is Swiss essentially. So.
I'm just so sad about like them calling it like the. I would have just called it the lowest. You have upper bracket, you have lower bracket, and then you have lowest bracket, which would be the last 10 stage.
Just
I mean,
call
I don't know
it
why
hell. Just list
Yeah.
it. Vote hell.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any lower than that, mate. Prof, come on, mate. Mute your mic. I don't want to hear you nibbling away or other viewers at home.
the ASMR chewing?
I was like,
No.
where is that coming from? I was like, Lucas, have you left your mic latched? And then I look over and I see you just cheekily having a little nibble over there, mate. Having a little crunch.
I mean, it's been 2 hours. Give a man a break, okay?
We're almost there. That's all I'm saying, man. You know, it's the last about another 8 minutes here.
The problem is like my blood sugar dropped and I needed it right now. Otherwise, I just
works.
faint.
You can't.
I
we
just
can't
die.
fuck with
You
that.
wanted me to die right here on stream. Kind of rude.
Come on,
but
now,
okay.
man.
I mean, after seeing that bracket, my pulse went up a little bit as well. So.
Bro, but it's nice. Imagine being here like as an underdog team, as like IHC or whatever.
You get a lot of games.
You're gonna play quite a few games, and especially the last ones, you have a good chance to win. Like even if you play against EG or MIBR or whatever, you have a decent chance. You're gonna have some exposure against another region, most likely.
Of course.
I feel like that's pretty cool for that kind of for these teams. So it's not like you play against number one, play against Navi first game, then you like lose to get Navi. Oh, now you're playing against someone upset. I don't know, fucking FaZe. Now you're playing against FaZe. Good job. Get fucked and leave. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See you in half a year.
Yeah. The Greyhound
That's fair.
route.
It's definitely good for the teams to get in more reps and more matches. I think it's good because it's expansive here, which was one of the things ISO was originally criticized for when they went and made it just one league, that it was no longer as inclusive to these other regions to give them as many opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for teams here. There's a lot of teams from Brazil.
That is the most, I think I was looking at it, and that is the
Like
most
5,
represented country out
I'm
of
pretty sure
anybody.
it's 5 teams.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity here, and I know that there was a big discussion going on recently during the closed and open qualifiers, where people were saying, "Oh, it's nice to see these teams going up against each other and this, that, and the other." Well, you kind of get a bit more of that here. It's not just the big names. So in this type of a format, I kind of am hoping for upsets, like not in every game, right? But I am hoping that some of these names get pushed by names that we wouldn't be expecting and tested a little bit more. And yeah, I hope that everyone's up just to have a bit of fun, because I think the crazy thing with what we do is we sit here for hours a day talking about watching, playing, analyzing a video game, right? Which, like, I know I'm getting on. I know I'm getting on. I know I'm getting on. And I know that video games are everywhere now and people are playing them at the highest level. And I understand this is my life. I understand this. But it's still crazy to me that is our life. So I'm just hoping that what we can do with Pro League is bring back a bit of that charm and a bit of that fun, to that side of things. And I think that infectious joy of getting to be involved in these environments are brought through by some of these teams they don't get to play as often, because they come and they're always a little bit more thankful. They always love what's provided for them and stuff. And I hope that we can get back that spirit, not that team spirit, but that vibe.
Like team spirit.
We got to bring it back, man. Like, because Counter-Strike's fun. So I hope during Pro League we can convey that with the games, with the players.
This is kind of like Snappy's wet dream, because he's constantly like about that partner team life and like how non-partners have it so much harder. You literally have like whatever it is, 18 non-partners, and not 18, but something like that.
Close.
16, something like that. Whatever. I think it might actually be 18.
I think it might be 18.
17. I think 15,
It's more than
15 partners.
50%.
I think 15 partners are now in Pro League. So 17 teams that are not partners, and so like a lot of teams will get to challenge who partners are, and it's not just going to be EG who bomb out, possibly.
Yeah. All right. Well,
We can do playtime and do some questions.
All
if
right.
you're down.
That sounds like a good place to pivot. Lucas, I know you always love running this bumper. Play the playtime bumper, would you? All right, we're back with playtime. And now Prof, well, he's been the man out there. He's curating all the questions. He goes up, he puts the mic in people's mouths. He asks the big stuff. He said, what do you want to ask STYKO tonight? So, Prof, what do the people have to say?
Some people in chat are asking when Martin is done for the show, and that they want to play some game called Secret H. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. It's I think we don't have to
name the full name.
I mean, I think we can, but
I think we can
it's a
too.
board game. It's a board game. If you've been following my Instagram, we've been here at the boot camp, and this is like a team activity that we do. It's a simple board game. It's primitive, but it revolves a lot around talking. So we warm up our comms as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called it's called Secret Hitler, and it's a really good board game. Like I recommend it to anyone if you have a bunch of friends playing around or even team environment. You guys can bring it to the Malta and just have a go at it after one of the evenings. I think it's
Maybe
really
do
good game.
that on the couch and make
Yeah.
it content.
Yeah, no, I have heard of this game before. I've never played it. What was the one they used to do at Summit? There was one they used to do there, similar kind of vibe. But I think
So
that
all the Dota people always played like Mafia, which is
That's
the
the
board
one.
game,
That's
but
good. Yeah.
but
It's basically I hate Among Us, but it's basically Among Us, but in real life, you know. So you have to talk and find out who the bad people are.
This is like the
The
Palermo,
rabbits.
like the same like Palermo or something.
Palermo, yeah, you know, in Czech Republic, it's pretty popular
Yeah.
Palermo thing. But you go into the circle, and it's basically it, but it's better. You know, it's board
Okay.
game already, so it's really good.
okay.
All right.
So what is the vibe at the boot camp? Boob camp. There we go.
Boot camp is really good here, but I mean, we're getting along a lot more. Like there's no bad blood or anything. Everything gets talked out instantly. Like people that have conflicts, they don't just sweep it under the rug. Like we're open, and this is
That's pretty good.
finally 5, 6, 7 individuals, of course, with the staff that is capable of argumenting properly, constructive criticism, taking it, reflecting on it, replying to it, instead of getting butthurt and being child about it or whatever. Like it's so demotivational, I would say, to deal with these people. And I cannot stress it enough how important it is to have this mindset of being able to learn from others in Counter-Strike and the environment. This is my shout to all the young players that are a little bit stubborn. Like, don't be. It's just going to make you look like an asshole when you don't want to be, but it's just how it is. You have to be open to others, and yeah, this is how the boot camp is, and I love every second spending here in Norway.
Okay, nice.
The question of the week. There wasn't a lot of good questions. I'm not gonna lie.
Do better with the questions, everybody.
We're gonna give a shout out to Spaghetti River, aka
Isn't he the guy who makes the funny
the
videos?
creator of the Sun Gods
Yeah,
videos
okay.
of the series. It's a very simple question. It has STYKO, do you still have contact with the people from your first team? So not your first HLTV team, but like people that you started
Yes.
playing with.
Yes.
The first.
I think the first, like, my team where we actually cared. So we were going to the Copenhagen games, etc., with Slovakian people. Uno, you know him, Striker. So that was one of the guys, and we're still in touch. Like, not like we're texting or something, but whenever like something comes up, he can always ask me things about personal life, etc. And I think I can do the same to him. Like,
Great guy.
I'm not a guy that like chases friends around a lot. Like I have maybe a best friend that I meet like 3 times a year, which is insane. But I still consider him a best friend, you know. But it's really hard to keep up with the contacts like this in the industry, you know. If you have friends from outside of the industry, it's really hard to find the time, and you probably guys know it as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like you turn around and it's like, oh, what the fuck did I see this guy? Oh, it's 6 months now.
Yeah.
And then you do like the classic 3-hour, 5 beers catch up. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we should do this more often.
I mean,
Don't
we
do it.
should, but there's just
Too much
so many
Counter-Strike
hours
to play,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. None of us, I think, are complaining.
No,
Like,
it's good.
Yeah, but
Keep
it's
it
just
coming.
you have to just take a sacrifices sometimes, and this is one of them.
It's just a weird schedule that we have with like weekends being so packed with tournaments, and then you do events, so it's another weekend, then you come back, then you're like half of the next week you don't like me after Katowice last week. I literally did not want to go anywhere. Honestly, I didn't have the need to see anyone. Like I was completely fine, just like going to the gym, cleaning, like washing clothes, cleaning the apartment. Like went to one coffee alone. It was great. Like and then another event next week, and then you're flying again, and that's kind of how it goes.
I mean, I have the evening free, only one in like a week or 2 weeks, and then I accept invite to the show. I'm like, yeah, this is how it goes.
It's doomed, man.
Every few days, I feel like I'm doing a podcast or an event. Like it's like, oh, what are you doing tonight? Oh, I'm doing another podcast. You know, it's like there's always something going on. We're busy. We're busy bees.
I think you're doing a great job, Chad. Though.
Oh, thank you very much.
I have
both of these.
I have one question that I put down. I'm gonna ask you for your latest productivity life hack tips. Because you always have something going on. You read, you like watch, listen to podcasts and shit. Have you been doing anything new?
Nothing too crazy. Like what would I say? Like trying to really go for the 2-minute rule. I don't know if you know it, guys, but something takes less than 2 minutes, you should do it instantly.
Okay.
So like it saves me a lot of headache when it comes to email works and stuff like that, replying to people. Like I just put it instantly off the top of my head. And what else? Like I don't know. You kind of surprised me with the question. I would have thought about it more because now I look like I'm not doing anything productive, but I'm really trying to optimize a lot of stuff in my life.
You're doing a lot of like journaling, sleep optimization routine, stuff.
Yeah. Like sleep schedule for me, really important, and tracking sleep. I don't know, maybe it's placebo or it isn't. I don't know, but I'm really, I love to learn about these things. I don't know, for whatever reason. I think it makes me a little bit more professional, that I understand my body and what I need to do and my schedule. I think it's important.
Yeah, it's difficult though to flick the switch in your brain. That's the thing that I think most people have the hardest time with. See what Prof's talking about doing? I do the same thing. I just become like this slug in front of like the computer for a week after an event. And like, it's hard to, I don't know, like pulling yourself out of it to be productive and doing all those things. Like holding yourself accountable is not easy. Like
honestly, also it's worth taking that like week of like slow regenerative stage, because like sometimes I come back and like force all of these things and then I just get sick, and like your body just can't, your body knows what it needs, kind of to some degree. So sometimes it's okay to listen to it and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna potato.
Yeah, that's all right. We got any other questions there? Oh, JL's got a question. What does the L stand for in JL?
God damn. Loser? I don't know.
That's a tee up right there, mate. That is a tee up. He gave you that one for free.
Like
literally slam dunk right there.
I mean,
it's his name. It's the initials of his name.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Christina's Leikau something. Leikauchus? I don't know.
I wouldn't even attempt how to say it. I wouldn't even give it a crack. Yeah. But it's just his initials.
Less sofas.
Yeah. All right. We got any other questions, Prof?
No, I don't have anything. Do you have anything?
No, I was going to.
Maybe you should bring some questions sometimes.
Well, I leave you as the question curator.
Maybe you should try a bit harder. Not just leave it all on me to carry this relationship.
Sorry, man.
And just like rest on your laurels.
I did all the report cards. The last episode, I used up all my juice.
Honestly, you do have like 3 weeks of not doing anything based on that. Not gonna lie.
We'll get one going for the next one. This one here, the Sunday came around real quick.
I mean, it was like 3 days since the last episode.
We did 2 episodes very quickly.
All right. Well, STYKO, thank you for joining us this evening. Is there anything you would like to say to the viewers and the listeners and everybody at home?
I just feel so blessed being here, being invited first of all, and being in your company, and then Twitch Chat's company as well. Like it's unbelievable how you guys are, how much effort you put into this, and how you pick a brain properly. I didn't feel like I'm being interviewed. It was like a friendly conversation with all of you, all 4 of you. Lucas involved, and then a bunch of thousands on the stream as well. Like it's really, really nice.
Millions watching around the world.
Oh, they'll get to it.
God,
they'll get to it. Don't you worry about that. The moons, they'll see it, Prof. We'll tweet it out there. The social medias, we can't be stopped. But thank you, STYKO. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you to Striker. He'll give you a wave right now. Striker loves giving it. Oh, that was a salute into a wave. I like that. Thinking on his toes right there. Prof will give you pop friend. You guys have been asking for it. He's going to give you a pop friend right now.
Is that it?
Yeah, I don't know how much they can see enough of you there.
It's this is the thing.
And we'll give him a good night. We'll see you on the next episode of HLTV Confirmed, which should be next Monday. We'll see you there. Goodbye.
was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Bet. Your bet, your game.
It's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe.